All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safeway Liquid Beer Release podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
It's the 6 o'clock to check in. Come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's not static. AM radio. It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and log you with some sirloin bites.
The old can't do it. The old can't do it. YouTube Trev, do it. Good morning and welcome into the Nielson Show, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Lieutenant Eric, Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev behind the monitors, Rookie of the Year in the present. And the celebrations continue for Rookie of the Year. It's really a week long.
As they should.
As they should. We'll get into more of that as the show rolls on. But good morning to you, 604. Pretty nice morning out there. Hell of a night in the sports world. And we'll do our best to knock it down and recap the best we can and set up everything going into a busy and important weekend as well. This is it, man.
Yes.
Autumn, fall, the leaves are turning. It's getting a little more of a chill out. The pads are crunching in the football. Shohei Ohtani is doing things unseen.
He's a monster.
We'll get into that and give it the time it's due. Of course, baseball and the statisticians and the numbers and everything. I mean, you can just go off last night from his entire stat card.
Yeah.
But we'll give him the credit as well. How's everybody doing tonight? Big Jets win as well in the Thursday nighter. We'll get more into that. Nasty chat's humming. Paris Jewelers inbox is bumping today. 780-218-9999. Of course, Paris Jewelers, family-owned and operated, 22 stores, 4 provinces across this great nation. Large and high-quality selection of engagement rings, including lab-created at great prices, Star Wars and Marvel wedding bands. Do it. Buy one today. Flexible payment options, including do not pay for 1 year. You can shop in store or online, www.parisjewelers.com. Just taking a peek in there, and a couple of people, I always like reading some of the texts from late last night after the Reed Wilkins show with Jason Mill. Who will be on location today at Sit and Sleep. You can check that out, South Edmonton Common as well today. Babe Ruth hit more home runs than any other team in the entire league twice. People will be coming at, everybody wants to kind of argue and get on that, but I think it's hard to ignore the numbers put up by Ohtani yesterday. It just seemed like yesterday that we were tracking Ohtani Jet as that whole ruse of him perhaps joining the Blue Jays.
That was crazy.
Was something, but yeah, I mean, what a night it was for him playing against the Marlins and the Dodgers clinching a postseason berth for the 12th consecutive season. 20-4 your final.
Close one.
I mean, the Marlins, they like to put up a fight, do they not? In most Major League Baseball battles.
We call those formidable opponents, facetiously.
I was talking to a few folks at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge last night for the Thursday night.
Uh-huh.
If I'm pitching against the guy right now, I'll serve up a whiffle.
Couple meatballs.
Well,
for
why
him.
not? You get to be part of history. You get to be on the video or whatever it is that he hits the home run or gets the stolen base, whatever it is.
Or both.
Or whatever. Like, you get to be part of this. And the Marlins, again, part of history in a rich fabric of Major League Baseball. Since the RBI became official in 1920, only one player has had, over the course of his entire career, same game or not, a game with 10-plus RBIs, a game with 6-plus hits, a game with 5-plus extra base hits, a game with 3-plus home runs, and a game with 2-plus stolen bases. Take a guess who that player is.
Shohei Ohtani.
Did it all yesterday.
In
that game. So, I mean, I just... What do you say? Not much more. You read over the numbers, you take a pause, and you swallow hard, and you swallow deep. And you just have to be thankful that you're in the presence of this greatness. It's unseen.
It is unseen. Rip City Step chiming in early. Good morning, Rip City Step. Also an Estes Award winner. And he throws in the headline. It's a screen grab. MLB rule changes. Year of the stolen bases already threatening to rewrite the record books. That was back on April 26, 2023 by Dane Perry. And we recall that the bases were made bigger to promote more base stealing.
Look, is that the reason? Probably. Rip City Step and investigating how all this happens. And there we go. A conch for you, Rip City Step, for breaking it all down and showcasing the fraud that is Shohei Ohtani. Why were the Marlins having non-pitchers pitching to him? Yeah, see, it's just... It's a celebration. He's that close. He's going to get it. You might as well be the team that gives it to him. And he follows both those up with ha-ha.
Right.
Yeah.
If Ohtani gets, like, what do we have? A few days left in the season, a week left in the season, I think.
Well, Dodgers, and again, so they'll host the Rockies beginning tonight for a 3-gamer. They'll then host the Padres for 3, and then visiting the Rockies again in that field where the balls can really fly.
Bye-bye.
What
if he gets, just hypothetically here, we're chewing on this.
I might see where you're going here.
What if he gets, 4 or 5 more home runs and 4 or 5 more stolen bases? Will that ease the pushback from the purists?
Like Rip City Step?
Well, I'm not putting Rip City Step in purist category here. I'm just saying he makes a point that you got to look at and be like, well, yeah. If Ohtani just crushes a couple more and then if he gets it to that 55-55 range, he's not going to get 60-60. That's ridiculous. Well, he's going to Colorado.
You can't doubt him now at this point, but yeah.
But does it help? I mean, he is, I guess since Babe Ruth, we haven't seen this specific type of player. Power, pitching, and I don't think Babe Ruth was known for his speed.
But the guy could eat a steak. Yeah. He'd really down a steak. But you're right. I mean, the grace involved in the game with the stealing of the bases and the athleticism there, and not pitching. That's
he'll be back pitching next year, though, right?
But a season off the mound, allowing him to kind of, I guess, focus on this and really, complete the set here, as you will.
Rip City Step also adding the main reason stolen bases went up: the new rule limiting pitchers to 2 disengagements per batter. Pitchers can only disengage from the pitching rubber either to call timeout or attempt a pickoff throw twice per plate appearance. Yes.
He then follows it up with "I'm a purist." So that.
Oh, all right. He's a purist. Anyway.
Well, Andrew chimes in. The 50-50 for Shohei is impressive enough. I know he's not right now, but he's also one of the best pitchers in the league. Let's not forget. And yes, credit where credit is due there. And I look forward to, as you mentioned, next year getting back on the mound in all probability and what he can do there in terms of records and breaking them and smashing them and setting his own mark. So I know I was talking with the Bear Boys this morning, and they were asking for, break this down to me in McDavid terms.
Okay.
How would you kind of do that in McDavid terms? A quick kind of translation of the numbers, if you will.
How did you
for the hockey mind? Well, I just said, it's Gretzky-esque, first off. It's that type of thing.
Yeah.
Where you have a player that's outside of the generation, seemingly.
It's beyond McDavid.
It's beyond.
Right?
Yeah.
This is
at this
breaking
point,
new
at this
ground.
Point. Yeah.
In a rich history, embroiled in turmoil in a sport that is part of the fabric of America.
Yeah, look, steroid era, love it. Look, we're a product of it. I can't complain. Breaking through primetime television to see Mark McGuire hit a few dingers, give that to me any day of the week. But your thoughts on Shohei's impressive night and the Dodgers clinching a playoff spot with a 20-2 victory over your Miami Marlins. 780-218-9999 is the Paris Jewelers inbox.
The Miami Marlins, two-time world champions, as they
absolutely.
like to say.
Well, back before they moved from Florida to Miami.
Oh, yes, of course.
I always preferred the Florida version of the Marlin and the Jim Leland days. We are coming to you live as well from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Boneless Wings, a continuation of their Bone-In Wings platform, which will allow customers the choice between ghost pepper bone-in or the all-white meat boneless wings. Either or, bone-in, bone-out, doesn't matter to us. Lots of flavor, signature hot, honey garlic, honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, as well as the classic. And right there, Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio. Check them out today if you need a Friday chicken fix.
Yep.
NFL Thursday Nighter as well. They're not all pretty. They're not all masterpieces. Jets controlling the possession for most of the game. Never really in doubt. Aaron Rodgers, home opener for the Jets, finding his footing. I know the Mark Majot household probably all in celebratory fashion. His newborn kid decked out in the Jets gear last night. But we move on, I think, with week 3, really. Patriots putting up the 3 points. Congratulations to Chris. He's the winner. Squareboard last night down at Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. And what a night it was.
Yes.
You gracing us with your, what a surprise. You showed up after a round of golf.
Yes. My brother's in town from Calgary, so we had like a Gazzola boys golf adventure in the late afternoon. And then I was going that way anyway, and I always said, I need to go see you. Not on a mandated watch party.
Smoked brisket cheesesteak.
I had one of those. Yep. I could still feel it in my stomach. It was good.
Sticks to the ribs,
baby.
Great.
Yeah, it does. Great soup and great deals, actually. The price was right. That first beer that comes with the special is $5.
It's not bad, eh?
And it's a good size one. So
and the
it was
soup,
awesome.
too. I like how you got the soup as a side. Not
I'm
too
a
many
big
people.
soup. If it's fresh, like, you have to ask the waitress or waiter at whatever establishment you're at, like, is the soup good, or is it kind of like
come
left over
with
from
me for
3
a second.
days ago? Yeah.
You take them down, arm around the shoulder.
Talk to me
about the soup.
Anyway, it helped. The soup was great. The company was awesome. Good to see the nasties. Some of them still nursing hangovers.
Twitter Mary was working through one again still.
Twitter
hey?
Mary and Dave was perky
smiling
as usual. And Mary was battling through. The Dill Pickle Hockey podcast was.
They were going. Yeah.
I had my first appearance on there. Lovely. And just good to see everybody. And then we had another.
Well, then Gager walks in. It's like a clown car. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? He shows up behind me, and I can't remember. He just in the neighborhood type of thing. But it was good to see you and Gager. And I'm going to try to go down the list here, and I don't want to leave any names out because it's kind of like Romper Room. I want to mention them all and kind of give them all their due. T-Roy, you're sitting with, of course. Troy, the Godfather. Jocelyn and Jay, the streak continues as their drive for perfection. While continuing last night, they've been to every Monday and Thursday nighter with me down at Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, and they continued that last night, so good to see them in their nacho plate. And gentleman beside me, he was wearing the gold top hat at the Estes, and apparently I talked with him a lot. Clearly, I don't remember because I really don't recall a lot from that night.
You had a night. It was great. But
the only other guy in a top hat there, and he was decked out in Patriots gear, and I forget the name, Chad. I think it was Chad. But Chris was the winner of the jersey, I do believe. The father of a son. He had his wife down there as well, so it's a nice family affair for them. They're walking out of there with the Patriots jersey last night. Who else am I missing? Fergie's prostate. Yep. Renee was back with Savage there. Yep. They were looking good. A couple of games of backgammon under their belts. And I think that's... And then, of course, you, Gager. I mean, that was just beautiful. And a couple other kind of stragglers along the way that shall remain nameless, but it's good to see a lot of people kind of getting the EST vibe, the EST bite, if you will, and continuing on our word of the mouth promotional program here at Edmonton Sports Talk. So, kicking off week 3, Jets, a comfortable win over the Patriots. We'll have more on that later in the show. Herm Edwards, of course, makes his triumphant return today, just, getting that in there as well. Dusty, I know it's eating him alive. He's not here for the return of the coach.
He phoned Dusty.
They were texting in the thing, and then he phones him up, and he's a real good guy. So we welcome him back to the Nielson Show, albeit the new format. I think it's one that he'll excel in as well via the video link. So
that's from Jay.
Yeah, no, I said that, right?
Yeah.
Sit and sleep. Yeah.
Jay, are you up right now? What are you doing?
He's up. He's texting. No, yeah, sit and sleep today. The Reed Wilkins Show will be live. Sit and sleep. 9738 19th Avenue, South Edmonton Common. I said that beside Planet Fitness. Feel free to mention throughout the day. Well, that's 2 for you already.
We will.
That's 2 per hour, I think. Yeah,
We'll
5 per hour, I think.
On
Yeah,
our
yeah.
oil stream, too. Fine.
We got you. And again, I want you guys in those little nightcaps with the little ball at the end and maybe the unbuttoned, flap at the back for easy access
yes,
to, do your business in the middle of the night. But true pajamas.
Old school.
The flannel, the very, very thick. But we had a night Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. The rookie also was out in the town last night. Rookie of the year. The celebration continues. I don't know when the parade happens or what the route is prior to tomorrow's football game, but you will be down at the tailgate continuing the Rookie of the Year celebration. Will you bring the Esty with you tomorrow for the people in the public at large to kind of catch a glimpse and maybe take a photo with?
There's a good chance that I'm bringing that bad boy with me. Yeah, it was good. Unfortunately, it kind of sucked because I had mentioned that the roommates were going to be in attendance, but they couldn't make it, which was kind of it actually sucked. But they had a little something for me last night, which was pretty good. So
Made up for it.
They did. So we had some champagne, and they took some videos of me trying to open this thing. I'm gonna release those later on Twitter. Because I struggle with opening things. That's like if you guys ever see me try to open a pack of cards, I struggle mightily. So
you're all thumbs.
Yeah, like I suck.
I have seen you attempt to clap.
Yes,
and it's hilarious.
Yes.
What? Have you ever seen him clap? It's like this.
Yeah.
But it's loud. Like he.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this guy doing it on?
I've been told that I've had the loudest clap. Like
I can't have you do it purposely. I'm gonna have to catch you in the act.
Yeah, you'll
have
to. You'll see me doing it because.
And I'm like, are you doing that on purpose? He goes, yeah, it's kind of.
But it's a thing. But it's crazy how my clap is crazy loud. So. So I had some good champagne last night, and it was a really fun time with the roomies as we are counting down the days before they don't become my roommates no more.
And what are we at in terms of count here? Because that's like a month and change. Are we saying? Or
like a month and 10 days. So right around there. Can't wait. It'll be awesome.
Get your YTT. I struggle with opening things. Texts in 780-218-9999. It's probably the route for text of the day this morning. And that gets you $20 to A&W. Of course, it's crunch time for your taste buds. For a limited time, A&W collabing with Ruffles, the Cadillac of potato chips. I maintain. The Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger. You've had a few.
Multiple.
Your favorite team, but you repaid the debt.
I
Did you
apologize.
Not?
No, Fergie's prostate
did because
brought one in.
He took one. Yeah,
I didn't know. Like, and
you haven't repaid the debt.
Just
get that off.
I
record.
apologize, Joaquin, that I had that second delicious teen burger with the Ruffles, and it's really good. It is.
You couldn't resist. I
had one in the morning, and then there was one sitting out there, and I'm like, guys, is anybody having this? Because I'm gonna have lunch, and otherwise I'll just leave it. And everyone's like, no, it's all good. But I guess I didn't ask Joaquin. And he wanted it, and
we did kind of walk you into it, though. You asked, and But take it from Tommy. I mean, that's how good these are. It's irresistible.
Yeah.
You can try it in the teen burger or in the buddy burger variety today. $4.99. Try one of your neighborhood A&W. Again, very good. A nice crunch. It maintains. You can reheat it. That type of thing. Like we put it through the process here. We ate them every single way you could. Reheated, fresh, all that. A good chip. A great burger. So $20 to A&W, text of the day today, and maybe it's the YTT struggling to open things text route that you choose to go this morning. Also want to mention that the Nielson Show presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. We'll be out there October 4th, the tailgate show. That's going to be a fun one. The whole day. I mean, the whole EST crew will be out at South Fort Chevrolet. Having a little fun, as they like to do out at the dealership. You can go see Daniel and his family-friendly team today. Tell them EST sent you. You'll get an additional $1,000 credit trade-in. Is it the text?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a very easy path there. We're lobbing it up. We're the Marlins this morning, giving you a little, you hit this one out of the park, crank it.
Yeah, well,
and Bob Loblaw and Lloyd, that's kind of the route.
You watch it, Bob Loblaw.
That's the route I was thinking of going. Daddy.
That's pretty good.
May I?
Absolutely. It's a 6 o'clock hour.
From Bob Loblaw in Lloyd.
Clubhouse leader right now.
These extra small condom packages are hard to open.
It's swish, right? Like
that's a 3-pointer.
Come on now. So Bob Loblaw and Lloyd, he's kind of got the high watermark there, but
well done.
Yeah, Rip City Step. Trev doesn't struggle at opening up to us. That's a nice. He's taking that a different route, the more of the sentimental, emotional route. But Yeah, 780-218-9999. And once again, go see Daniel and his team today. $1,000 credit on your trade-in vehicle. They won't be beaten on any price. Find the best deal you think you can and then take it out to the fort and they'll beat it. Great financing rates in the month of September on Silverados and heavy duties. www.southfortchev.com. Oilers as well. Let's get down to that. I mean, Ohtani, yada, 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 NFL, whatever, CFL, big deal. Just lots of things to have. But the Oilers hitting the ice. We have lines. We have defensive pairings.
Oh, we do.
You were down there on the scene making the beat yesterday. What did you kind of uncover and discover? We'll have more on this at around 7. We'll kind of pick your brain and get a little more into what you kind of thought on day quasi 1, I guess, of camp.
Day 1 on ice sessions, I guess. I mean, technically day 2 because they had the medicals and physicals.
The bike with the tube in your mouth.
Yeah, and that's a hurry up and wait type of day, but usually, kind of get the big stuff out of the way with like the coach and GM and stuff. But yesterday we saw Ty Emberson paired up with Darnell Nurse. It's good that Nurse is skating. He was skating in the informal sessions, captain skates, whatever you want to call them. But he is kind of dealing with that nagging injury, and he called it his boo-boo yesterday. A boo-boo. And so, we'll, like I reported last week, we'll probably see him in game action later on in training camp. And preseason because the schedule gets going this Sunday against the Winnipeg Jets. It was a very calm day 1 on the ice. It was great listening to Joaquin tell old tales of training camp back in the day. I think he was talking about like the fights that would happen, guys trying to make a name for themselves. And that doesn't happen anymore. Like I remember even my first couple of training camps, so like 2008, 2009, guys would still go out there and try to beat the living, out of one another. And yesterday, what it was essentially was a mid-season practice. Some systems work, some flow drills, a little bit of this. Go to the board. Let's take a look. And Chris Knobloch has a very different approach than Jay Woodcroft, who obviously ran training camp.
The first camp now for Knobloch, which we kind of forget to maybe or overlook.
Set the tone, and I think that's why it's worth mentioning. And his demeanor, the calmness, you hear him in his press conferences. We would have lots of people being like, "Oh my God, he's so boring to listen to post game." Well, that's just kind of how he is. That's his way of being, and there was no demonstrative yelling and showing guys where they were wrong in the drill and stopping a drill and going back to the board. That was kind of the Jay Woodcroft style, and for Chris Knobloch, it was, all right, here's how we're going to do it. This is what we want to see in this drill. Okay, go do it. And then very business-like yesterday. So that was kind of like a key takeaway. And we'll see as this thing progresses. And now, more and more, it just feels like the NHL just gets right into the preseason now. We're going to have, 3-4 days of on ice. They're not going to do the group that is playing on Sunday against Winnipeg. Like, they're not going to have a morning skate. So it's just the guys, the non-playing roster that will have a skate. And the guys that are playing, they'll show up, have their meetings, get their treatment, and then they'll play that game that evening. So very different and interesting how it's evolved over the last decade and a half or so in how training camp is approached. And I know it's different team to team, but very, very calm so far from what I've seen.
When do they unveil the unfinished business shirts, right? Like that's kind of that's totally the mood and the mindset, obviously, with everything. But yeah, first camp with Knobloch leading the way, which is kind of interesting. But I think most fans too. I mean, get us to the fast forward a bit of time here and enough of these Matthews leading the stretches and all that type of thing.
I'm so glad that was highlighted yesterday, by the way.
So how could you go through a day without that? Right?
Headline material.
That's the captain. Captain your captain. 780-218-9999. Once again, more on the Oilers at around 7 o'clock. We'll pick Tommy's brain, maybe go around the horn. If you have any questions for Tom and kind of what he saw from the perch yesterday down at the rink, 780-218-9999 or in the Nasty Chat. Nasty Chat is humming, close to changing 100. I think we can easily smash that through I'm halfway there.
Let's go.
Hour number 1. We haven't even gotten halfway through the hour, so let's go. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Give us a sub as well, 10.2K, but I know a lot of you are in there and just drop it in day to day, so hit the sub. Don't be scared. Maybe today is the day that you make it official and subscribe to the channel. But again, a great day of programming here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Just want to run through the Nielson Show as it is today as well, ahead of a sports update from Tom Gazzola here for Nisku Glass. But we'll come back and talk a little more about what happened last night, set up the week it is for Week 16 in the CFL. A gargantuan week with a lot of playoff implications, positioning on the line. Marshall Ferguson will join us from the CFL and TSN around 6:40. I do believe he'll be on another motorbike this morning as he's got an appointment, so we look forward to that. He told me he'd be riding a Gem, and Gem was all caps, G-E-M. He's very excited for the bike he's got today.
Call it a hunch. We're going to hear all about it.
And maybe a glance at Singapore as well as the Formula One schedule continues. Oilers talk, as mentioned, to lead off hour number 2. Coolbet Canada Hotline of the day. Probably head there at around 7:20 and take a look at the CFL picture this week. And then Herm Edwards, the coach, returns to the Nielson Show, albeit the Edmonton Sports Talk format. We're going to find out what he liked last night from the Jets' big win over the Patriots, and more of Week 3 in the NFL as we move forward. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's 3 questions too many for the great staff at Park Mazda. They got a great deal going on this weekend as well. We'll have more on that. That hurts for James H. Brown Injury Lawyers. That's all ahead of Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, 8:35 this morning. A German flair, a German fair, if you will.
It's Oktoberfest.
Beer, yes. We'll be talking to them via video link, and your next chance at $50 to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, all ahead of the wrap for William Huff. So should be a fun show. Lots to discuss, lots to break down, and lots to set up for the weekend, but we'll hit an early sports update here for Nisku Glass. Tom's got everything that happened last night. Take it away, Tom.
In the NFL, Week 3 is underway. Aaron Rodgers had a strong and long-anticipated home debut as the New York Jets pummeled the New England Patriots 24-3 in the Thursday Nighter. The 40-year-old threw for 2 touchdowns while going 27 for 35, putting up 281 yards in the air as the Jets snapped an 8-game home losing streak. In the NHL, like we just mentioned, Oilers training camp continues. Today, the first day of on-ice sessions did feature Darnell Nurse skating alongside newcomer Ty Emberson. Nurse continues to deal and heal with a lingering injury from the playoffs and is expected to get into preseason games later on in camp. Day 2 of on-ice work at training camp gets going at 9:30 a.m. this morning down at Rogers Place. Meanwhile, Edmonton's Pacific Division rivals, the Anaheim Ducks, named blue liner Radko Gudas the club's 9th captain in franchise history. Eric insisted we get that one in there. In the MLB, Shohei Ohtani is the only major leaguer to ever reach the 50-50 club. He did it in dramatic fashion. The Dodgers superstar crushed 3 homers, stole 2 bases while going 6 for 6 at the dish with 10 RBIs in a 20-4 LA win in Miami. As for the Blue Jays, they take on the Rays this evening. First pitch from Tampa goes at 4:50 Mountain Time. In the CFL, Week 16 gets underway tonight on TSN. The Ticats look to keep their playoff hopes alive as they visit the Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field. And then the second half of tonight's doubleheader will see the 5-7-1 Saskatchewan Roughriders visit McMahon Stadium to duke it out with the 4-6-1 Stampeders. Dustin Nielson will have the call in that one. Kickoff set for 7:30. And locally in the AJHL, 6 games tonight. Kelly Brookburger's Devon Extreme welcome the Calgary Canucks to town. That is your sports update brought to you by Nisku Glass, which is growing and now hiring. If you're a nasty that wants to work with other nasties and can cut glass and replace windshields, then we want to hear from you. Email your resume to info@niskuglass.ca or stop by our shop to apply today. That's your sports update. I'm Tom Gazzola.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielsen Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, not tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it, maybe it's fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time, Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We We wanna hear some Huntix and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat us the tie of fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Back from Rapaport, Dragger Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him giving present, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
6:32, you are listening to the Nielson Show on Edmonton's Clear Choice for Sports. EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the iHeart TuneIn radio app, and of course, as always, on YouTube, that fisheye lens. I really need to do a show with that whole fisheye lens throughout. I can't wait. It's going to be one of these. I hope you'll be here riding shotgun. That would be nice. Oh. Hey, the fisheye. It's like a skateboarding video again. It
is like a
zoomed out video, and I
Tony
kind of
Hawk too.
I like that. I like that a lot. 14 degrees for a high today under mainly cloudy skies. Looks like it could be got a little wet overnight too, I think. Yeah.
I saw some moisture and precipitation.
A little wet.
Had fallen.
A little wet. But a good day tomorrow for that game. The Ford Bowl. Elks, Bombers, both coming off a bye. 17 degrees, mix of sun and cloud. Just a classic with a little bit of wet overnight tonight and the 14 degrees today. Should get the leaves again going a little bit. And perhaps tomorrow we'll have like a nice fall, kind of picture painted for that big game.
The crunch of the pads in fall weather.
This weekend, you had it in the sports update, but Hamilton hanging on, clawing their way into some sort of playoff. But tonight at BMO, they're almost sold out.
Actually?
Oh, yeah. They're opening
They're opening up that deck.
They're not opening the top, but the whole, that's all the both sides, kind of lengthwise, those are all gone. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot of black and gold traveling, making the trip with their season on the line. Yeah. It's a heated rivalry. Ticats, I think, looking for the sweep for the first time since 19, which would be huge.
But they're monster underdogs. They're like 7-point dogs.
It will have more of a Marshall, but they have a good O-line. They protected the quarterback all year, but Toronto's D-line is very... This is what you want to kick off the week. And 2 doubleheaders. Then you got the Riders and the Stamps tonight, the Christmas Bowl, the Green v. Red down at McMahon.
It's a great description.
Both teams needing this one, essentially. I mean, both seasons on the line here, you could argue. And then heading into tomorrow as well, 1 o'clock Mountain. You got the Ottawa Red Blacks undefeated at home, taking on the Alouettes, who are undefeated on the road. Something's got to give there as the Red Blacks pursue the Alouettes for top spot in the East. And as mentioned, the Ford Bowl, the Elks, one of the, if not the hottest team in the CFL right now, in terms of vibes and everything, records aside, but taking on the 7-6 Bombers, a share of first in the West. Both teams coming off a bye. Trey Ford gets the start. We knew that early. Tyrell Ford, his brother, in the secondary, playing lights out as well. The storylines abound, but everything can almost be make or break in this Week 16 in the Canadian Football League.
Bring it on. I love the drama. It's been an interesting and fun CFL season, without question. I like how you brought up the vibe around Commonwealth and this team now, new ownership. Speaking with my uncle yesterday on the golf course, he grew up a huge Eskimos fan. And let's just say it bluntly. The last 4 or 5 years has completely turned him off from the team. And to the point where he used to have season seats with
losing
with me.
Sucks.
Yeah. He's one of those that didn't appreciate the name change, was put off by the old white guys comment that was made. And he's one of those guys that just said, I'm done. No more. And I talked to him yesterday, and I said, hey, do you want to come to the game on Saturday? Going into my birthday here. Would be great if you could make it. And he's like, no. And I'm like, come on, man. He goes, no, but I do like this new owner, and I do like where this seems to be going. So that inkling and spark of hope that I think others have already.
We've got the firecracker up in him. We just need to light it now. But Larry needs to drive the truck through another opposition bench.
Exactly. And he pointed that out. He's like, he just seems like a guy who's from here, who's very successful and loves football and loves the team in the city. And I was like, well, I mean, my encounters and engagement with the new owner of the Elks has been very limited, but we did have that big day at Commonwealth, and we had a chance to meet Larry and Deb, his wife, and they were very pleasant and, a man of few words because I think, he doesn't want to, he's not a public speaker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get a good vibe off of him right out of the gate. And that's good first impression. And so there's that slim glimmer of hope for an old, stubborn Italian guy maybe being willing to open the door again to the green and gold.
If we can break him,
and he is like the extreme. Like, if you piss him off, you're done.
He holds a grudge.
He's an old,
is what I'm getting from
old
here.
Italian white guy.
Old white guy.
Like, he is. That's him.
And guess what? Larry Thompson.
Old white guy?
Checking the boxes
Is he
here.
Italian? No.
Well, that's...
Is it Larry Tomasino?
Get him down to the Italian Center shop
Get him
for an
over to Santa
afternoon.
Maria
And,
Goretti, baptized at the Italian church like my uncle John Louis.
but the vibes
Or
are
John
high.
Lynch.
And you mentioned, though, the record aside, and they are playing up to their... I've always maintained, and I said it during, 0-7 days or whatever, this team had talent on it. It's not like they didn't. I mean, you're losing 3 games by a walk-off field goal. I mean, you talk about Ohtani and putting up numbers. We haven't seen results like that in 3 straight games either for a team. I mean, They had bad luck, no luck. And again, there is a stank hanging around this organization, albeit from people who have come in and tried to run it. Maybe not for lack of trying.
Right.
Let's just say that, and credit where there is. I don't think anybody came in with the idea to kind of sink things and tank things. But I think you just had people who weren't, in tone and in lockstep with how things have gone, and you need that for a traditional organization. You want to bring a mix of new ideas and
Sure,
a future look. But again, to some other people that were here running things, I just don't think, again. Not to railroad them here or anything. I think they had the right positive idea, but albeit it was just in the wrong, checking the wrong boxes there. But courtesy our friends at the Elks Herd, ticket update.
Nice.
This was 18 hours ago. Tickets moving section selling out 2 days before kickoff versus Bombers. Biggest game of the year. Section X has less than 10 tickets remaining. I'm sure that's changed. West side selling fast. East side, great options still available. It's filling up. And I'm sure Matty Iwanek will have more on the hangout. He likes to always bring up the seats immediately and just tell you what's cooking and what's available there. So again, the vibes are high. The tailgate always and during the lackluster years was still a thing to behold and a thing to enjoy down there. So even if you didn't go to the games,
Right.
But now again, aside from your uncle, I just don't see any reason not to go to this one. It's a huge one. The brother battle, both teams kind of vying for still top spot in the West. So much positioning in the West on the line here as well, and really I'd say too for the Elks a test of their mettle. I'm not going to sully what they've done over the past few, but you're playing a Stamps team that kind of coughed the ball up more than Trev after a night on the old Benjamin, if you know what I mean. But yeah, a lot of turnovers there that have padded that stat, and then a game against the Hamiltons of the world and all that. I mean, it's just so this is a test. I think a test for both of these teams as well.
Absolutely.
Bombers as well. So. Should be fun, should be great, as we are just a couple minutes ahead of Marshall Ferguson. He'll be joining us in about 5 or so just to kind of set the stage for Week 16 in the Singapore Grand Prix.
I like this text from Rip City Step, and maybe it's an indicator as to where things are right now with this football team, like we're talking about with the hype and everything. Rip City Step says, my wife always gets a bunch of tickets to give out from Rod Connup. This week was the easiest that job ever was. 2 calls, and they were all gone.
It's a good sign.
A great sign.
It's a good sign. And again, we will be set up there, Edmonton Sports Talk. I know Marshall Ferguson in the bullpen, but YouTube Trev, Zach Tickham, the whole crew. You might even see an SD down there as well. We got the tent next to our good friends at James H. Brown. They'll be down there, the big yellow tent, and it's right next to the stage, the music. As Trev said, follow the music, follow your ear, and you will find EST. So we will get you there, and it should be a great afternoon. I want to get this quick text before Marshall Ferguson, CFL and TSN. Great night at Central Casino with Lieutenant Eric and the crew. Tommy and Gage even made an appearance, even though my team got worked. Code Red, you were the Patriots fan next to me. Thank you for texting.
Yes.
Scored a fantasy touchdown with Garrett Wilson, and the smoked brisket cheesesteak was on point. Looking forward to another night out there for sure. Keep up the good work, fellas. Code Red. And nice to see you, Code Red. Once again, every Thursday, square board up at Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Your chance at an NFL jersey. I think, is he got him dialed in? He's still putting on his lapel. But let's let's bring in our good friend of Edmonton Sports Talk here from out east, Marshall Ferguson, CFL and TSN. Great to see you again, Marshall, and thank you again for taking the time to join us on another busy morning for yourself. You're somewhere out on a highway in the middle of cornfields this morning. You said you'd be riding a gem this morning. Maybe we'll get to that at the end of the hit, as we are all familiar with how you like to sign off now with these hits on usually Fridays. But we love to have you both with the CFL flavor and a bit of Singapore Grand Prix talk. But let's just start with Week 16 tonight, the first of a doubleheader, Marshall. Hamilton looking for the first sweep over the Argos since 19. Season arguably on the line as well. You got that Ticats O-line going up against an Argos D-line. Probably a lot of black and gold in attendance tonight. It's going to be rocking at BMO. Who do you like in this one, in this slobber knocker? Do you like the Ticats kind of hanging on to their season here tonight?
Yeah, I think I do. By the way, I'm coming to you from the place where all great radio/podcast hits come from, a McDonald's parking lot.
Nice.
That's
Fueling
the
up
move
a
today.
bit.
But no, I think for Hamilton, the one thing that I would really, really rely on, that I think they should as well, is the fact that when they scripted those opening plays in the Labor Day Classic, Scott Milanovich was just in his bag, man. Like he knew what type of coverage he was going to get on certain downs and distances, and he absolutely dialed up the perfect things. Like the route that I loved the most, the play that I loved the most, I think, was the second touchdown to Tim White in that first quarter from Bo Levi Mitchell, because Bo threw it with so much anticipation and so much confidence that as soon as it came out of his hand, I'm on play-by-play, and all I wanted to do was go, oh, bleep. Like, because I was like, what, that Bo hasn't looked like that in so long, for him to throw a ball like that with that much confidence in that spot. But it's because they had obviously repped, okay, we're going to get cover 4 here, and then you're going to run this little out route, and then we're going to fly up, down the sideline. And Bo, if you look to the right, hold the safety, and then pump and come back to this. It's like when they did those things in the Labor Day Classic, they were unquestionably the better team. Now, Toronto did creep back into the game, and at that point, Chad Kelly was still very much trying to sort out the early stages of his return, but Chad hasn't really shown all that much development. Like, I mean, it's the game in BC, sure, but after calling that game in Ottawa, I'm like, I have serious doubts whether or not they made the right decision by bringing him back at this point. So I think Hamilton is really, really, really scrappy, and I think that comes from their head coach and it comes from their veteran quarterback, because those are the people that tend to kind of craft what your organization looks and feels like. So yeah, I think Hamilton gets the victory tonight. I do, on the road.
Yeah, fighting for their lives, as you mentioned. And, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, the second half of this doubleheader tonight, two teams fighting for their playoff lives, really, in the Rough Riders and Stampeders from Calgary. 2 points separating them, Marshall, 3rd and 5th in the West. Injuries, though, mounting, especially on the line for the Riders, both defense and offense. Is that a little too much to kind of overcome right now, or how do you see this one shaping up tonight?
Obviously, AJ Ouellette being banged up and being out for a while now doesn't help this, but, like, why can't the Riders run the ball? Like, guys, I understand the offensive line stuff, but their whole mentality coming in was to try and be defense and run the football. Like, Corey Mace was going to follow that whole Argonauts thing from last season that they did so successfully. And to me, it's like, yes, injuries are unquestionably part of the reason why, but I just thought that organizationally, if their philosophy was going to be to pound the rock and to play great defense, I mean, they are still playing great defense, even though they've gone through injuries on that side too. But you got to be able to run the ball if that's what you want your team to be about, regardless of who's in there, I think. And there's various teams that have shown that. Like Ottawa's even done that, right? With Raquel Armstead going away and obviously signing with Saskatchewan now. But when they're rolling through it, and it didn't matter if it's Jamal Morrow comes in for a series or two a couple of weeks ago, or now you've got Leyburn, who we actually spoke with him yesterday ahead of the Montreal-Ottawa game I'm doing this weekend. That dude is so funny and so unique and so great. I hope he sticks in the league and is great for a long time, because he was really, really cool to meet up with. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Saskatchewan hasn't been able to carve out more of an identity for themselves outside of the obvious, which is like Roland Milligan is just an absolute monster, and they still have a great pass rush, and they're getting after people. But Calgary is a very, very confusing team. As I said, I believe last week, like I was really weirded out by the whole Logan Bonner stepping in for Jake Maier thing. I didn't really feel like it was necessary. Didn't seem like a whole lot of great motivation behind it, other than just going, I don't know, we need a spark. Okay, let's swap this thing out, and then it doesn't work, and you're like, well, that was the wrong decision. Okay, let's move on and go back to Jake, and then of course you have the super unsatisfying result of a tie at the end of things, which obviously makes nobody feel good. But Calgary hopefully will come in and play with a little bit more spirit than I think they did in that second half against Montreal.
I just don't know, and going back to that Riders running situation, why you have a guy like Ouellette and then a guy like Hickson and a Thunder and Lightning option, and trying to get both of them on the field at once. Again, as you say, if that's going to be your identity, why not really go full blast and see what those guys can do and spell off each other? Let's go to the East now, just going down the line here. Red Blacks 6-0-1, one of those ties as well at home this season. Second in the East, hosting the Alouettes, 5-0-1 on the road, another tie. I do like the single point kind of adding a little spice to the standings as well and giving those odd numbers, but something's got to give with those records as well. Do you like Ottawa at home here in this one and kind of their pursuit of the Alouettes for tops in the East?
I have no idea, and that's why I'm actually so excited to call this game, is that it's like, I remember when I was in Ottawa a couple of weeks ago when it was Toronto at Ottawa, and I went, yeah, this is a good one, it could be a preview of the Eastern semifinal, but then I was immediately going, well, the one in a couple of weeks that I'm back in the same stadium for should be the preview of the East final, because all respect to Hamilton and Toronto, I don't think they're going to be able to stick with either Ottawa or Montreal by the time that the playoffs come. So yeah. I do think this is an East final preview, and if I'm Ottawa, getting a chance to do two things: one, set the tone for a potential playoff matchup, which I think will come, and two, they're also trying to basically wipe clean what was just a horrific performance by Ottawa against Montreal in Montreal at the start of the season. I called that game too. And I remember we were halfway through the first quarter, and Dwayne Ford and I were looking at each other and just going like, what is this Ottawa team? And we thought that they were going to just be the Ottawa team we've seen for the last couple of years and be a train wreck and everything's terrible and all the rest. And then they just start ripping off this heater streak where they're winning on the road and they're winning in the West and they're beating West teams at home and. So, I think Ottawa there's a lot of reasons to believe in them. But if you are Montreal, you've proven time and time and time again that you will be able to find solutions. I think that's Montreal's greatest trait, is that Jason Moss has instilled in them, if we lose the first quarter, we'll figure it out in the second. If we don't play well in the first half, we'll figure it out in the second half. If we have to go to overtime, we'll figure it out. He does not care. He's implemented this whole kind of culture and system around there that I think is absolutely awesome. And I will say too, Jason Moss, everybody knows how fiery he is on the sidelines. Obviously, I asked him, ties, your thoughts after the game against Calgary yesterday when we were on the Zoom, and he goes, well, you know what? Didn't love it. Didn't feel as bad as the loss, but, the 1 point helps us get closer to being able to clinch home field and all the rest and blah, blah, blah. And when he said that, I go, do you think you would have felt like that 5 years ago? And he goes, no. he's like, I've gained a little bit of perspective. I'm more thankful for a little bit of everything the more time that I get a chance to be a head coach. So, he was okay with the way that things turned out, even though he was frustrated.
More weathered to Jason Moss. I like that, and kind of maturing in his own. And it's good to see. We will get to the final game of the week, the Ford Bowl here, Trey versus Terrell. We talked about the vibes heading into this one from the Elks. You got Larry Thompson driving the thing into the Stampeders bench. Like the tickets are selling here. The tailgate's always usually humming, but will be even more so tomorrow afternoon. Is it this Elks run game and the Bombers defense trying to stop it? The protection of one Zach Caleros, who now stands alone kind of in that Winnipeg Blue Bomber quarterback room. Who do you like in this one? Again, both teams coming off a bye in a crucial, again, we talk about playoff positioning, but the Elks' pursuit of even top spot in the West, which is weird to say here in a Week 16.
Yeah, 100%. Just looking at the standings right now, even going back, because I was writing an MOP article for CFL.ca this week, and I looked at Zach at the start of the season. It doesn't even feel real to go through his game logs. Like, to see that they began 0-5 and he had 4 interceptions and 0 touchdowns through 5 weeks, you're like, there's no way that can be possible. And you're like, no, we lived it. That's a real thing. To see Winnipeg be in this spot, I get the sense that they are rounding into form, and everybody should be terrified of them, because regardless of record, it's like they might have created their own adversity, but they're going to power through it. And for me, another article that I wrote, CFL.ca this week, was basically about 5 plays to look for in the Trey versus Tyrell matchup, right, with the Ford brothers. And it was like, my mind started just kind of spinning, thinking, so you've got Trey at quarterback and you got basically a field corner, but they roll them all over the place, and all it takes is one rolled ankle, and all of a sudden Tyrell's at free safety. Yeah. And now Trey is trying to, and this is the thing, right, like, that I find so incredible about this matchup is anytime that you have a really, really good defensive back and a good quarterback going head to head, it's going to be a fun mind game. Those two guys literally have the same brain chemistry. Like when they are matching up against each other, it's like it's as if you are trying to outsmart yourself, and it creates this situation where it's like, who's going to outplay each other? Who's going to look each other off? You know, you're going to play high-low reads. You're going to maybe have to go outside on a scramble and try to think, well, what is Tyrell going to do here? And they have to make those decisions in split seconds. Yeah. Like that's incredible feeder to me. I hope people are as excited for that matchup as I am, because I can't believe we get to watch 2 twin brothers go at it against each other, because it's cool to watch like Tyson and Jalen Philpott go after each other, and there's been other times where there's brothers and stuff, but like twins that match up across from each other, right? Yeah. Offense, defense, and it's not just a receiver, it's a quarterback. That's going to be amazing to see.
Marshall Ferguson joining us now from the CFL on TSN on the road, as he tends to do when he does his hits with us. Marshall, switching gears over to F1, obviously with what's going on with McLaren and them overtaking Red Bull in the constructors race. That's interesting, and I think it has gotten the juices going a little bit. But now we've got Lando putting pressure on Max, and I don't know, watching these last few weeks, Marshall, I feel like Max is like slipping big time, and it almost like he was a non-factor last week in Baku. Like, what do you make of what's going on here? Is McLaren going to kind of steal it all away from Red Bull? And is this the fall from grace that maybe we expected in a couple of years that Red Bull's having right now?
Yeah, I mean, Tim Rainey had an awesome piece. I think you guys probably saw it on tsn.ca, and they did it on SportsCenter as well, which was basically like the collapse of the empire, right? Yeah. Because the whole thing is, when Adrian Newey steps away, and then you start having other people getting promoted from within, and then they're shuffling the deck. And when all of that started to happen, you felt it slipping. And I think Zach Brown from McLaren saw the opening, and I don't know if they necessarily had plans to bring as many upgrades as they ended up bringing this season, but I think he saw an opportunity, and he's jumped into that fray wholeheartedly with all things papaya, which, by the way, just the papaya rules being back in as a thing is one of my favorite parts of this entire season, right? But no, I love, I mean, and the thing is too, and McLaren is just a masterclass in so many of these things because they have such a great history. This week, they're bringing back the old school livery, and it's kind of a throwback to the past of championships gone by at the perfect time as they take over the constructors, as Lando's pushing Max. So, yeah, I mean, the team order stuff is going to be really fun to watch and analyze, I think, for people like us as the season kind of comes to the closing stages. But I love the way that McLaren has seen an opportunity to take down the king, and they haven't even blinked. There's been obviously a couple of moments here and there where they've had their struggles, or they've had the, dramatic radio calls and all these things about complaining about each other and who's passing who and why, and hey, but I'm faster, and that stuff's going to happen. That's normal in racing. These guys are super fired up. But yeah, McLaren it's one of the most impressive F1 seasons I can remember in being a fan for the last 15, 20 years consistently.
Yeah. I was going to just get you to give your thoughts on the dynamic between Oscar and Lando, because it is neat to hear their radio barbs, if you will, and then to see Lando be a good teammate for Oscar and kind of block Charles a little bit or slow down. How do you think that that's going to evolve, and what's your take on it?
I think those two are actually a really good pairing, and I had my doubts because I remember when Lando was like the youngest, up and coming guy and all the rest, and he was racing, I believe it was with Sainz when he was a part of McLaren as well, and it was like they go from that, and then the next year it's like, okay, well, Ricardo's coming in, and you're like, okay, well, that's super fun because Lando's quirky and likes to sing on the radio, and they get good personalities and unique people. But when Oscar came in, it was like, okay, this is a legitimate threat, because now your job is to beat your teammate. Obviously, that's what people always say first and foremost, right? So to see Oscar jump in, be so comfortable in the car, adapt to the car so quickly, and then get really, really competitive and up to speed that quickly. I feel like that's pushed Lando to evolve his own driving style and to push and try and sort out some of the issues he's had at different tracks. So Oscar's made Lando better. Lando's made Oscar better. And I'm so impressed by McLaren because driver pairings, they have the temptation to be a very weird and awkward dynamic, and they've done an amazing job being able to massage that to the point where, as I say in the post race last week at Baku, he's like, no, I just want to help Oscar. It's like, man, if you would have told me that would have been the quote coming out of Lando's mouth at this time of the year when he's in that situation, I would never thought that probably even like 2-3 months ago. But they've done an amazing job of trying to work those guys together, and it seems like it's working.
The teamwork makes the dream work type of phrasing there, Marshall. We'll let you go. I know you got an appointment, but without any further ado, once again, you have the call tomorrow. Alouettes, Red Blacks, 1 o'clock here Mountain on TSN. And what do you got for us tonight here on the road? What's this gem that you were previewing with me via text?
So I'm a sport bike guy at heart. I love the adventure bikes. I love going on the Africa Twins and the Transalps and all these fun things that Honda allows me to rip around on and have fun with you guys. But this week, it's the Honda CBR 500 RA. So it is a very shiny little red toy that you get the CBR right there, which is a great little look. And unfortunately for Honda, I ride this thing around with way too much baggage on the back because I have to ride to CFL games. So my entire suit is in my backpack.
Oh yeah,
there you go. That's the suit bag for you. So would you like the honorary farewell throttle pop?
Yeah.
Rev her up.
Okay. All right. Here we go. See, it doesn't have the fun exhaust, but we'll still give you something. Here we go.
Love it. I love it.
Very excited back there.
Yeah, we're loving that, Marshall. Thanks so much, man. Have a great call this weekend, and we appreciate your time as always. Safe riding.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you.
Marshall Ferguson, CFL and TSN, racing analyst as well.
Love it.
And, bike rider. He said he'd be by next summer at Rad Torque for a few things.
Excellent.
A few fun rides and a few business, so maybe we'll get him in the hangout. He could bring a bike all the way up here. You ride it up the steps, bring it in the hangout, but then you guys
we'll build a ramp, and then we'll be able to get others up here as well.
Rev it on the coffee table over there.
Exactly.
Maddie would love that. Hey, no big deal. He'd be all. We'll take care of that, sort it all out, and let Maddie know later at a later time. But we appreciate Marshall's time. Great breakdown of Week 16 leading up to it, and of course the Singapore Grand Prix. I think as one texter pointed out, Dave here. No, it was somebody else here. A collapse looks good on Christian Horner. And I think it's kind of something we all get behind, unless you are an ardent Red Bull fan, but it's just an easy guy to kind of dislike maybe. And
I always, when I started watching Drive to Survive, thanks to you mostly, and Joaquin, I liked Christian Horner. I was like, okay.
The Spice Girl thing
British
and all that.
Gentleman, I guess. And then now it's like, no, I like Toto Wolff and Zach Brown way more.
He's like Palpatine.
Do it.
But it is an empire. Fall of the empire, collapse of the empire type of thing. Christian's collapse, if you will.
Hey.
I don't know. Kind of looks good on him. Looks good on the Red Bull team. I don't know.
Nobody feels bad, I don't
Nobody feels bad. It's nice to have a bit of a change there at the top. So, we'll Singapore Grand Prix. I think FP1 going this morning as well and all that. But hopefully Gager comes in here early. We can get a little of that on with his account, get the driver cams. 6:59, we'll hit a sports update as well. It is the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric Tom Gazzola in for Dustin Nielson this morning. Dusty will have the call on 2 games this week in the Canadian Football League. That begins tonight down in Calgary. It's the second half of a doubleheader, as he'll have the call between the Stampeders and Rough Riders, and then back in town tomorrow to cap Week 16 between the Elks and Bombers from Commonwealth, 5 o'clock kickoff. You can also join Maddie and Milne for your Green and Gold kickoff show. They'll be live at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. They'll get on the air at around 4, so go down and see the boys. They ran out at 6 o'clock or lager. Drank them dry down there at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. So hopefully they're restocked and ready to go for tomorrow, as the boys will be there previewing an all-important game between the Elks and Bombers. We'll hit a sports update. Do want to remind you as well on the Jason Mill note, him and Reed Wilkins, that show will be on the road today at Sit and Sleep, South Edmonton Common. We'll have more on that as the show rolls on here. But this is the Nielsen Show presented by Southport Chevrolet. Tom's got an update. We'll be back with some Oilers talk. Coolbet Canada hotline of the day as well. The coach, Herm Edwards, makes his triumphant return to the Nielsen Show here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
the National Football League, Week 3's underway. Aaron Rodgers had a strong and long-anticipated home debut as the New York Jets absolutely dominated the New England Patriots 24-3 in the Thursday Nighter. The 40-year-old QB threw for 2 touchdowns while going 27 for 35, putting up 281 yards in the air as the Jets snapped an 8-game home losing streak. In the National Hockey League, Oilers training camp continues today. The first day of on-ice sessions did feature Darnell Nurse skating alongside newcomer Ty Emberson. Nurse continues to deal and heal a lingering injury from the playoffs and is expected to get into preseason action later on in camp. Day 2 of on-ice work at training camp gets going at 9:30 a.m. today at Rogers Place. Meanwhile, Edmonton's Pacific Division rivals, the Anaheim Ducks, named blue liner Radko Gudas the club's 9th captain in franchise history. In Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani, the only major leaguer to ever reach the 50-50 club, and he did it in dramatic fashion. The Dodgers superstar crushed 3 homers, stole 2 bases while going 6 for 6 at the dish with 10 RBIs in a 20-4 LA win in Miami. The Blue Jays, meanwhile, take on the Rays this evening. First pitch from Tampa goes at 4:50 Mountain Time. In the CFL, Week 16 gets going tonight on TSN. The Ticats look to keep their playoff hopes alive as they visit the Argos at BMO Field. And in the second half of tonight's doubleheader, we'll see the 5-7-1 Riders take on the 4-6-1 Calgary Stampeders at McMahon Stadium. Dustin Nielson will have the call in that one. Kickoff is set for 7:30. Of course, the Elks welcome in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers tomorrow at 5 p.m. down at Commonwealth. In the National Basketball Association, Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers have agreed to a 3-year extension that is reported to be worth $193.5 million. The 76ers superstar center revealed that Friday morning on Instagram, and ESPN's Ramona Shelburne is reporting that Embiid signed the 3-year $193.5 max extension, and it'll guarantee Embiid $301 million over the next 5 years from the Sixers. Unbelievable. In the AJHL, we'll bring it home here. 6 games tonight locally. Kelly Bookworkers Devon Extreme welcome the Calgary Canucks to town. That is your ESD Sports Update, brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call, 780-455-4292. That's your ESD Update. I'm Tom Gazzola.
Got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. Well, we're counting on our skill and not on luck. And it's gonna get done until we hoist the cup. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
It's kind of like a grocery store loop music of sorts, hey? Just always on in the background here. We got it continuously playing
Yes.
at ESTHQ.
Right.
7:06, you are tuned into the Nielson Show. Show of the year here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Just humble brag.
Brush
But
damn shoulders
we got a lot of
off, why
award
don't
winners
you?
on this show. Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's all kind of going on here.
Draft champion.
Jeff Trapp, yeah, as well. Yeah, you're right. It's,
I got a little emotional and I stood up and I said, I am the draft master in front of everybody. Dusty shot me a very, very sharp look. That one cut.
well,
I noticed it right
I know
away.
you guys have developed quite a rivalry in the Nielsen Show drafts over the years, and it's it lives on. It continues, really. He'll probably be coming after that award.
He's a
this year.
veteran of 1,486 different drafts. I've maybe done 100.
And I say your record, probably your winning percentage is probably a little better given
When
the
you're good, you're good.
less games played. But Tom Gazzola in for Dustin Nielson this morning. Dusty will have the call, Week 16 in the CFL, tonight in Calgary, tomorrow back here in Edmonton, Elks and Bombers. Should mention as well, and a great sports update as you went through the bed, which was a great thing. Lots to get to.
You know what it tells me? Too long.
No, but there's a lot going on. And I think tonight as well, Golden Bears football, looking to get back to 500. They host the Regina Rams at Foot. That's 7 o'clock. Then on a little Sunday, you got the Edmonton Huskies at home to Regina from the JP Bowl. That kickoff is at 1. It's a football frenzy this weekend here in Edmonton. All around Oilers camp. Again, as you mentioned, the things really, the rubber hitting the road yesterday. I mean, I know we all want to get to the playoffs. We want to get to the Stanley Cup final.
Sure.
You have to put in a little bit of work before that. And it starts with the guys actually getting on the ice yesterday. You were present for that, Tom.
I was.
And we'll get to that here. Want to mention again, Nielsen Show presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Go check them out today, www.southfortchevrolet. We'll be there October 4th, taking the show on the road, taking the station on the road, as we'll be programming there live 6 to 6 October 4th. Join us if you want. It should be a great time. $1,000 credit on your trade-in if you tell me EST sent you. And Daniel and the team, great family-friendly team down there. They're having fun. Drive a little, save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet. You did hear we changed 100 during the song. I always like it when we do it during the song. Trev can really lay down his producer abilities and mix that in as you do with the timing. Flawless, sounded amazing. So thank you for changing 100 as we exited. We exited the opening hour at 97, which I think is a fitting number always in these parts. So let's change 200 before the end of hour number 2. But Oilers camp yesterday, I guess, again, early days, but what are you kind of pulling away? A few people shared their thoughts on the Paris Jewelers inbox. I know some people were really liking the Vasily Podkolzin media available and
He's
his
interesting.
kind of yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad they brought him up. Like, listen, he talked a lot about his fresh start. One of the funny thing, I don't know if this is funny, but you know, we're sitting there listening to him talk and very engaging, and that's a good thing. Seemed honest up front. Everybody's in a pretty good mood to start a new season, and that's always generally great. I mean, if you're grumpy and off-putting out of the gate, that's not great. So Louis DeBrusque and I are sitting there listening to him, and Lou looks over him. He's like, look at his face. He's all nicked up. Look at the scars. This guy mucks it up. He's a battler. I'm like, yeah, like I know he was a high draft pick, but that's kind of his thing. He talked about his physical play. He highlighted his willingness to do whatever Chris Knobloch wants him to do. He said PK, power play. I'm like, listen, I know we're not going to be seeing Vasily Podkolzin, I don't think, on PP1 at all. And then
play your way into there, right?
Power play 2 with the Oilers is basically just a rumor. So, but, you know, if he's willing to focus on the defensive side of his game, because he is going to be a bottom 6 guy, he is a bigger guy, and he is rambunctious, and he'll muck it up, like we said. And the Oilers need a bit of a physical edge because they did lose a little bit of that when they lost Dylan Holloway to the St. Louis Blues. And if Podkolzin can provide it, chip in with maybe 10 goals. I know he had 14 his rookie year, and it has not been as fruitful offensively for him the last couple in Vancouver. He did mention, too, 3 coaches, 2 GMs in the last handful of years as a member of the Vancouver Canucks. That was not good for him personally. That did not help him put together any success and confidence on the ice. So, I think the Oilers said, we have a chance here for a guy to take this opportunity and run with it. And they identified Podkolzin as the type of guy that might be the right fit. A little bit younger. There was a lot of potential and expectation from him in Vancouver. It didn't pan out. And now he gets an opportunity to, provide a little something on the fourth line. Yesterday, he skated with Derek Ryan and Corey Perry, if that's noteworthy to you. But I also laugh when I hear like Joaquin and Cass, Louis yesterday too down at the rink, because we're going over lines and we're talking, oh, look at this, McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl with Skinner and Arvidsson, Henrique between Janmark and Brown. And then Gager kind of just like laughed when it was brought up by Hernan yesterday on EST Afternoons. It gets shuffled up, but it is kind of, it is a pretty big indicator that, this is likely how the season's going to start.
You can't. We knew there wouldn't be too many surprises. I mean, I don't know if Jasper Weatherby factors into any of your long-term thinking here as well. Brought in on a
Let's
PTO.
talk about him.
But you're right. I mean, aside from, and this was Trevor's vote yesterday for surprises through camp, was one Vasily Podkolzin. I think you akin to a Klim Kostin type of attitude. Maybe that shone through with the media veil as well. You're a bit of a character and a guy again that. You're seeing, Vancouver, Abbotsford. You mentioned the coaching instability and shuffling and just kind of, unable to find firm footing. And with an Oilers team that's, pretty stacked and pretty set and in stone and what have you, this is one area where a guy like him seems like a good puzzle piece fitting right into what you need and maybe what he needs as well.
Yep.
Any thoughts, on the PTO theme? I know Jesper Weatherby, the name itself was kind of making the rounds as everybody having a go at that, kind of a unique name in terms of a hockey player, but the Mike Hoffman PTO as well. I mean, again, these are moves that maybe we were talking last night that, favors to agents or whatever, and Hoffman parlays this into maybe another gig somewhere else, right? He's getting up to speed, but really no realism when it comes to this team or any sort of, prove me wrong. But
I think, how did I sum it up? Like the way I look at it, and Mike Hoffman would have to be the best player on the ice in every single session, and then one of the best players in every single preseason game he plays, and that includes putting up points to get a contract.
Yeah.
Right now with this, because the forward unit, there's no room for a Mike Hoffman. So that's why we would say this, a chance for him to showcase himself, an opportunity to get in there, play with some good players, and show everyone, other scouts around the league and GMs that there is a guy that can still pop 15 to 20 goals, even though he's 34 years old. It's not going to be with the Edmonton Oilers, unless he writes this amazing story at camp. And then Travis Dermott being in camp, his experience. If you were to look at the PTOs, there's one where you could go, if he has a really good camp, outplays the 3 right shot guys that are competing for 2 spots in Emerson, Stetcher, and Brown. Maybe, but even for him, it's a bit of a long shot. So this is an indicator as to where the Oilers are. They're in a good spot. And then I'll sum it up with this. When we had Craig McTavish on the Hangout, he goes, in camp with competition, the tie always goes to the guy with the contract.
Sure.
So it's an uphill battle on a PTO, but it's not insurmountable.
Not insurmountable, and again, they wouldn't be going through this process if it wasn't. But you just got to think that it's all kind of said. You mentioned the defense and specifically the right side. If you were to do like a bit of a power ranking, I know we had some pairings yesterday. Again, nothing set in stone as of yet, but how do you kind of see all that shaking out? Stetcher in the mix as well, Emberson.
I could see Stetcher being the guy who's a regular with Kulak on the third pairing instead of Brown. You know what I mean? And yesterday it was Brown with Kulak. So let that play out. but really no real surprises or anything earth-shattering from camp. And it'll take games to kind of sort through those little things, the details and the final touches on the roster. But I'm not anticipating anything too crazy. And it's kind of nice because it's like, well, we're already kind of collectively saying, let's get to some games here. And then October 4th can't come soon enough.
Feeling good about the blue line though, as it stands. I mean, it's. I know.
Not really.
We don't need to spend too much time on the forward group, and as we mentioned, we're kind of looking at 4-line or whatever, and you can kind of move things around there as you please.
Blue line adequate at best.
Okay, that's
right.
The quote.
And let's see what Darnell's looking like when he comes back and starts playing. If he looks like the Darnell from a few years ago, okay. If he looks like the Darnell that we saw last year, what is Ty Emberson? How does he grow into his role? Because he is going to get an opportunity. You
feel bullish with him, though, being a younger guy and, again, something to prove in a sense. Like, the sky's the limit, but
I'm also a little bit hesitant to put all this attention and expectation on him.
That's the problem, too.
Myself, and I've talked about it on the oil stream. It's like,
in a year of years
don't burden him just yet. Like, keep a keen eye on him. But if we're talking about Ty Emberson 4 games into the season and we're taking questions in the nasty chat and critiques in the text line on a post-game show because Emberson isn't panning out.
And then hanging Skinner out to dry because of that, or we've seen all that domino effect kind of go down.
I can't wait to see and hear what Cass has to say about people being like, what the hell is this? I thought he was supposed to be CeCe's replacement. It's like, well, that was game number 34 in his career. So that's where I'm a little bit leery. But you want to be optimistic too, and
you do,
see
and I
what
think
he can do.
You can cut it either way. I think, and again, you can be a little this is an opportunity and such. But Trev, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what your level of, or if you are at all concerned about this blue line. We know the forward group, we know Skinner. We these are things that are tried and true. But does it make you quiver in the liver, just slightly, a little tingle up the spine?
I'm quivering a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be a long season, I feel like, for Matthias Ekholm and Evan Bouchard. Like, they're going to be logging a lot of minutes, I feel like, because, I mean, you do lose Vinny Desharnais, you do lose CeCe, right? Like, and you're replacing them with a lot of question marks. Like, I don't really know a heck of a whole lot about Ty Emberson. By all accounts, he's okay defensively, but that was in the AHL, and then he was okay. He had okay numbers for the worst team in the league last year, so... I'm going to be keeping a keen eye on him, but as far as I don't mind Troy Stecher. I talked about it quite a bit on pre and post last year. I can't wait for him to be getting
season.
Yeah, the Stecher season. Let's go. I'm really excited to see him to get in the line up a lot more than Vinny Desharnais, because that's kind of what it was last year. Vinny Desharnais took his place, but. Tommy nailed it. Like, I don't know what Darnell Nurse you're going to get. Like, a Darnell Nurse, he can't be okay. Like, he's going to have to be really good. And I don't know. Like, prove me wrong, and I hope I am, but I don't know if he's going to be really good this season.
He's capable of it.
He is. And that
is. That's the frustrating part.
Yeah. It is so frustrating because he's got all the assets. He's got all the tools to be just a dominant player in the National Hockey League. And it just... he has. But for the most part, like what we've seen, like, he just digs himself a grave, and then it's just constant errors, and then he gets mad. But then when he is mad is when the fans of Edmonton seem to really appreciate him the most. He plays he's a lot more physical, and we saw with the one game in Dallas when he was short with the media, and then he went out and had the best game in the playoffs. So
and then he ended up following that up with mediocre games the rest of the way.
Yeah,
through.
And so it's like. It's very tricky, but yeah, their defense at times last year was talked about throughout the whole, national, just by the fans and whatnot for being pretty mediocre, and you get in 3 question marks. So I'm pretty scared. I'm not gonna lie. If I was a fan, I'd be pretty scared.
You're more leaning on that side of the ledger than the.
Again, it can go both ways. Not this defense. Obviously, they lost Desharnais. CeCe.
And we know Nurse. We've gone through that, but it's the...
and Broberg, but it got to the Stanley Cup final and all the way to Game 7.
Yeah.
More or less this core of defensemen.
Yeah. And so, credit to team defense as well. The forwards are going to have to help out the defense a lot. And I'm worried as well because... like Stuart Skinner, I said in a hot take yesterday, I don't know if I'm still sold. Like
Sheldon S. agrees with you in the Nasty chat, by the way. I'm more worried, if anything, about Skinner being good for 60 games.
And
again, in front of this or behind this blue line as well. Maybe that's
as we saw, a little bit last year, and he's still, young up and comer, but he relies a little bit on how good the team defense is in front of him. He can win you a game, but he can't win you a crazy amount of games like some of the elites in the NHL. Yeah. So I'm hesitant to see how.
Hang on. This is the thing I don't understand about Skinner is he's played 2 full NHL seasons. Calder Trophy finalist, All-Star, Stanley Cup Game 7. Has it been perfect? No. Did he struggle in that second round? 100%.
But you got to agree with what Trev said. He's not in that realm where he's going out and like a Hellebuck making the Jets and elevating them a bit more.
It took Hellebuck a long time to get to that level too. And I think we can see this year, and maybe it's a sink or swim season for Skinner, but he could elevate himself into that top tier.
Yeah, he absolutely could.
And I feel like people are kind of, they just don't talk about him as opposed to being like, I'm worried about Skinner like they were last
Not yet.
Yeah, no, not at all. And that's a good point. Like I'm big on Stuart Skinner. He is the future for goaltending in Edmonton. I just I want one more season, and I think this is the season. He's gonna prove it or he's not. But I mean, I'm not gonna put him at in Vezina finalists right now. I've heard some people say that, like some fans have been saying that. So I don't know if he's quite there yet. But no, this is going to be a huge season for Stuart Skinner. But you can't deny the fact that he does the team defense that helps when they're playing good. That helps him significantly, and so he's going to rely on them. He needs that. He can't be. You saw it at the beginning of last year when the Oilers' defense was just horrendous. So were his numbers. They weren't really the best, but then they started playing a little bit better defensively, and his number and he looked way better, right? Yeah. And so that's where I'm at with that. But as far as the defense goes, I think it's a question mark.
You're quivering.
I don't think. It'll be really. I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen.
And I mean, and again, you mentioned team defense as well, and that's always a big part of it too. But I mean, if you're looking at question marks, quite obviously it's the blue line this season. And again, it can go both ways. You can be a little bullish, a little bearish on who takes the reins and who kind of takes the opportunity and sails with it. But a few comments here in the Nasty chat as well. Kelvin C. said Oilers need to plan for Nurse playing like last year instead of all of their eggs in a basket with Nurse returning to form. Nurse seems still pissy from last year. LOL. I don't know if that's a positive text there or a negative one from Kelvin C.
I think that's pretty on point. That's another thing yesterday when Darnell came out to speak. Not anywhere near as engaging as he used to be. He could be curt. He could be short.
There was the one post game where it was a one word.
Yeah, and like Trev alluded to, that was his best game of the playoffs. Now we know that he was dinged up in the postseason, but still, you've noticed the demeanor around Darnell go from pretty easygoing, confident, happy guy, and he was a good player, effective in the last couple of years. And I feel like the pressure, the noise with that contract, to me at least, knowing him for the last decade, it feels like maybe it's starting to get to him. Although now he's a dad, and life has changed, and
congratulations to Zach Hyman as well on the dad front. I think
another baby
announcing the baby there. But I think too with Nurse, we've talked about it in the past. Not having him to. I understand the contract. Let me preface with what I'm going to say. I get the money and I get the numbers. That's all. That's preface any conversation with him with that. We get it. I know. But it's not having him work too much out of his shell and
simplify, right?
We've talked about that, and that's usually when he's at his best, is when the game is kind of simplified. And we did get a text here in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Nurse too hockey dumb. Do not expect anything different. In fact, BB says he'll get worse, in BB's opinion. But I think when we've seen him play well, it's when again, sheltered's not the word, and again, I get the money. This is where we're at. But that's a more simplified game. When he tries to do a lot more, when he tries to kind of grip too hard or whatever, that's when we see the wheels kind of fall off.
That's fair.
Your take on Skinner's pads. Somebody mentioned that as well in the Nasty chat here. Skinner went full dark blue pads. Sheldon S. says, looks sharp, but goalies don't do good with dark pads. Boys, your thoughts?
I noticed them right away yesterday when I got to the rink. That's why I took a photo of them.
Pillows, you call them.
The pillows, the fresh pillows. dabbled with some blue pads last season. I remember asking him about them, and he didn't like them. Like, they just didn't feel good, so he kind of put them away and didn't really use them. So he's got the blue pads. They're very Mike Smith-esque. I know a few people brought that up. The only thing that really matters is that he stops pucks. The psychology behind the colors of the pads, and I know most goalies like to go with a predominantly white goalie pad nowadays, and there's a rationale to it. Gager talked about it yesterday on ESPN.
With the black puck and all that color thing.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, optical illusion, Trev said. And then Gager said that, and I found this part interesting. He said with the darker colored pads, he found it easier to track the puck than it was with the white. And I'm like, how much different? And it's like a split second, but that could be the difference between a goal and a save, or putting out a nice rebound to opponent, or kicking one into the corner and making sure it's safe, and your D-man or forward back checking can pick it up and get it out of your zone safely. And I thought that was really interesting. But bottom line, he makes more saves with these darker colored pads, and they get the wins. Nobody's going to give 2 iotas, I think.
No, I mean,
but it is interesting.
You have them green or purple, for crying out loud.
They do look
at the
nice,
end of the day.
though.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
It's a fresh look.
Yeah.
Nature Boy in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Have me in Stewie Skins, boys. He did not have a sophomore slump. He's going to his third season where typically players have figured things out and they start excelling. That comes in from Nature Boy. JKB says Skinner is a good goalie, but he's not a great goalie. And when he's behind an even more shaky D, cause for concern. And then I wanted to get this one as well. Andrew says, my take on Skinner is this will be the first full season where he is the de facto number one from day one. I think that he will play a huge part. Still need the team to commit in front of him, too. Obviously, Morinville Steb with a great text, too. The Pittsburgh Penguins won all 3 of their modern cups with a pretty ragtag group of defensemen, other than Letang. For Chris' sakes, Justin Schultz ended up being a big piece on 2 of their cup-winning teams. It's not unheard of to have success when you have a good team defense, and he finishes off with the high-end forwards. I mean, this if they can outscore things, and in that sense, right? Like, I mean, hey, just 80s style hockey, right?
Yeah,
be damned.
That was Oilers 22, right?
I know.
And then Oilers 23, 24.
Yeah.
More defensively sound.
Yeah.
They won a lot of close games last season, and they talked about their maturation process. I know a lot of fans also acknowledge that, and I think that's valid. So, but if you need to open it up, you've got some of the best.
This is the one. I mean, no offense to the Penguins in all 3 of those cups, but I mean, this high-end forward group is certainly cooking with a lot of steam and gas. Chris G. will finish up as Kelvin Pickard, a guarantee for Oilers backup this year. I would think. I mean, that's great in the room, right? Kind of he was.
I mean, the other options are Colin Delia or Olivier Rodrigue. So yes, it's Calvin Pickard, and that's why they gave him the extension. I think what is it, 2 years, $1 million per. Yes, it's Calvin Pickard this year for sure. Lock that in, barring injury or unforeseen circumstances. Knock on wood.
We got some breaking news here across the desk, as YouTube Trev has alerted me to the fact that Herm Edwards, the coach, ready, set, break. He has had to cancel today's hit. We'll just let this hang in the air for a second, and I bet you, one Dustin Bartholomew Nielson maybe had something to do with this. I bet you.
You think?
Because let me, and let's just go through the timeline here.
Okay.
We got an email from Dustin. He sent us Herm Edwards specs, to get him on. Trev, make sure to email him. Tell him to connect. 7:40, hit and everything. It's 7:30. I mean, Herm is getting to us early, which I appreciate. He goes on with a few more, business mumbo jumbo here. You don't need to know about. Also, he finishes, tell him I'm sorry I'm missing the first one. So he's got to just slide that in there, right?
Yep.
Now, we're doing the show. You're gracious enough to lend your time. Now, should it matter who's in the host? I know he called him. They have this great personal relationship.
That's beautiful.
But Trev's crying now.
It's going to be okay.
We're covering, we're filling in. And it just seems like this relationship now, they're phoning each other, calling each other. Dustin on the email saying, tell him I'm sorry I'm missing the first one. And now he's bailing. I got to think that there's something in play here behind the scenes.
Bit nefarious, if you ask me.
Dustin needed to be on first for his first hit on Edmonton Sports Talk. He was going to miss it, and now Herm can't make it. And I'm not blaming this on Herm. I just wonder how many Benjamins have been slid to say, hey, maybe we move this a week down and wait for me. Yeah.
I feel like I have a real connection with Herm, says Dustin Bartholomew Nielson.
We're just filling in, Tom. Right?
How about that?
Just let it hang in the air for a second.
Mm-hmm.
That does hurt. We'll get to that more at 8:20. Maybe we just discuss that at around 8:20, courtesy James H. Brown. But that's okay. 7:30, we'll hit a sports update. Come back, we'll take a look at Cool Bet, what they got cooking for Week 16 in the CFL, and maybe a little trip around the NFL as well. And let's get back to this Oilers talk, shall we? I mean, that's hour number 2 we've been cooking here. We'll dive back into the blue and orange, the orange and blue, and take your thoughts and questions. If you have anything for Tommy, as yesterday he was down at the rink, either in the Nasty Chat or the Paris Jewelers inbox. 780-218-9999 is where you can chime in. Of course, we were talking defense, but anywhere else you want to go in terms of the Oilers' early days? I know a few texts already piling in, so we'll get to that as well. So no worries, Herm. We'll get to you next Friday, and when Dusty's back, and they can have their little kumbaya moment.
Do your bromance.
Unfortunately, now you don't get to talk to Herm, which is the sad thing as well. Dustin
I love
should feel ashamed.
Arizona State. Or was he at it?
Sun Devils, baby.
Yeah, he was a Sun Devil.
Yeah, forks up. Woo. Tempe. Let's do a sports update here. Trev is bawling.
It's going to be okay.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
Oilers training camp continues today. The first day of on-ice sessions did feature Darnell Nurse skating alongside newcomer Ty Emberson. Nurse continues to deal and heal up a lingering injury from the playoffs. He's expected to get into preseason games later on in camp. Day 2 of on-ice work at training camp gets going 9:30 down at Rogers Place. Meanwhile, Vegas Golden Knights goaltender Robin Lehner will not play this year as he is set to miss a 3rd consecutive season. A quote from GM Kelly McCrimmon said, "Robin will not be reporting to the club this year. He continues to be unfit to play. There are unique circumstances surrounding this situation that the NHL, the NHLPA, and the Golden Knights are working through." That quote from Golden Knights GM Kelly McCrimmon. In Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani is the only major leaguer to ever reach the 50-50 club. He did it in dramatic fashion. The Dodgers superstar crushed 3 homers, stole 2 bases while going 6 for 6 at the plate with 10 RBIs in a 20-4 LA win in Miami. For all the Blue Jays fans out there, they take on the Rays this evening. First pitch from Tampa goes at 4:50 Mountain Time. Week 16 in the CFL gets underway tonight on TSN. The Ticats look to keep their playoff hopes alive as they visit the Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field. The second half of tonight's doubleheader will see the 5-7-1 Saskatchewan Roughriders visit McMahon Stadium to duke it out with the 4-8-1 Stampeders. Dustin Nielson, friend of Herm Edwards, will have the call in that one. Kickoff is set for 7:30. And then in the NBA, Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers have agreed to a 3-year extension that is reportedly worth $193.5 million. The 76ers superstar center revealed Friday morning on Instagram that he agreed to the extension with the team. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne said that it's a max extension and it will guarantee Embiid gets to $301 million over the next 5 years from the Sixers. All right, that EST Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who would not bail on us ever if he was doing a hit. I'm Tom Gazzola. You're up to date.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
You're tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn Radio app and on YouTube as the pursuit of changing 200 continues here in hour number 2. You can text us anytime in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Come hard after that $20 to A&W for text of the day today. They got the Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger and or Buddy Burger right now for a limited time. Delicious. The boys all had a sample out here. We all had a sample. Just delicious. Great burger. Get it today and come hard after that text of the day. $20 to A&W. It'll get you a few. Wanted to mention as well for Park Mazda, your dealer for life, and the another great sports update there from Tom Gazzola this morning. You can check out their demo vehicle sale. That's going on tomorrow, September 21. CX-5s, CX-50s, and CX-90 demo vehicles for sale, all loaded with accessories. It is their best demo sale yet, so check it out, parkmazda.ca for details. Head on down to Park Mazda, tell Mitch the EST crew sent you, and check out some of these demo vehicles for sale, all loaded with accessories only at Park Mazda. Once again, the programming note, the coach, Herm Edwards, scheduled to make his triumphant return to the Nielson Show this morning at around, 7:40, 7:45. He's pulled the pin. And as somebody chimed in, either in the Nasty Chat or the Paris Jewelers inbox, it kind of feels like that meme of the guy and the girl's looking back over the shoulder, and the girl in this case is Glenn Suter, and Dusty Nielson's head is cocked by looking at Herm Edwards, the new girl on the block, as it will. Look out, Suits. I think Dusty's got a new bromance on the way here. As again, Dusty couldn't be here today. Tom Gazzola in for him this morning, but Herm Edwards' maiden voyage on the show for EST canceled. Most likely because Dusty's not here, and Dusty wants him all to himself next week. So no Herm for you, Tommy.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. If you have like a relationship, a budding bromance, if you will, with a certain someone.
They talked on the phone.
Well, hey, Dusty, it's Coach.
He's been talking about this all week.
That's what Dusty said to us. He was sitting on our beautiful Adirondack chair donated by Bruce Simpson and the fine folks at William Huff that now adorns our green area.
It's a great
space.
ad to the
It's fantastic. And Dusty was just beaming with pride, and he goes, "Yeah, we need a new NFL insider and someone else." And I just reached out to Herm, and he called me. He said, "Dusty, it's Herm, it's Coach."
Probably the best call he's ever gotten in his life. And again, all the Glenn Suter phone calls, I mean, that's just in the rearview mirror now.
He doesn't appreciate the Glenn Suter phone calls. I don't even think they exist, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's all a facade.
It's all a facade.
Yeah.
He's played off Suits to get the Herm.
And that's not fair to Suits.
No, it really isn't. He's been used. He's a pawn, if you will.
As my part-time colleague, I say that is not fair to Suits.
Tom Gazzola once again in for Dustin Nielson. He'll have the call tonight down in Calgary, Riders and Stamps, and tomorrow back here for that big Elks-Bombers clash. Let's get into a little bit of that right now. Football of both varieties for your Cool Bet Canada hotline of the day. And just looking quickly, I don't think we spun one of the wheels yesterday, and I think it was Braylon Allen to get a touchdown, and I don't believe, I know Garrett Wilson was helping out old Code Red there at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard were the touchdown recipients from Aaron Rodgers, who tossed for 281 and a pair of tutties. Breece Hall rushing one in as well, 54 yards on the ground for that Jets back. So no Braylon Allen. The homemade wheel that Dusty made, not true last night, but we will move on for this week in the NFL and the CFL, which we'll look at tonight. Tiger Cats, Argonauts, Ticats on the road, +7. I kind of like them in this one, +7. Again, this is going to be a tight one. Yeah. Well, why not? And it is kind of their O-line versus the Argonauts D-line.
The Argos putting
frisky,
up,
the Ticats.
They are frisky, and I know they're playing desperate, and they want to keep this is it for them, right? Like, do or die.
Yeah.
Tonight. You got the Argos, but the Argos are coming off a hell of a win against the Lions.
And a Lions team that really, in my opinion, just didn't show up as well at home.
Right.
I don't know. You can credit the Argonauts for showing up and flying across the country and doing what they did, but I mean, again,
I'll give them all the credit in the world. And then Chad Kelly, the whole Nathan Rourke, Chad Kelly, let's call it a spat.
It's a delicious rivalry. I like it. I'm all for it. Yeah.
Bring that drama on, and Kelly getting the better as the bad boy of Rourke, who's he's the baby face, as they say in wrestling.
Yeah. Which one's the heel in this case?
Pretty easy. And the heel won.
The heel won. Well, and again, tonight should be fascinating because I know those Ticats fans travel. They're looking for the first sweep against their provincial rivals since 2019. So I like the Ticats +7 tonight, if not to get the win, but at least to keep it scrappy and close as they, as you mentioned, fight for their playoff lives here. The second half of the doubleheader, to which Dusty will have the call. Abutsky makes a good point in the nasty chat. Herm was in Dustin's life long before Suits. Yeah, I think if you go back and trace the timeline, that he was his first love, his first crush was old Herm Edwards, the coach.
I like this one from Krager in the inbox, Press Jewelers inbox. To Dusty, who the hell are you all of a sudden from everyone? I can't do the voice.
Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
I can't do that voice.
We were going to actually think Throw Mama from a Train would be one of the movies we returned to the Garneau Theater for an EST movie night, wouldn't that be?
I'm oddly curious about this. I had no idea.
Get some soda with some ice in it. Yeah.
He's got the hot buttons, and I'm like, what?
You never watched that at Boy's House with Raimai back in the day?
Never once.
He had that on like a continuous loop.
I am not surprised.
For a good couple months.
That does seem like something Raimai would have on continuous loop.
Boys are coming over for this one tonight, actually. Right. Riders and Stamps. Riders 2.5-point favorite on the road. In Calgary. You like them? You like that? You like that?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they'll cover too.
Okay. Alouettes, 2.5 as well on the road in Ottawa. It's 1v2 in the East. The Road Warriors and the Montreal Alouettes. Perfect at home for the Red Blacks, albeit a tie as well. Mm-hmm. Who do you like in this one, Tom? Red Blacks +2.5.
Montreal, and credit to Matthew Wannick. He's brought up their last handful of games and spotty. Right? Like
they started out so well that you can kind of have coasted it if you want.
How do you look at a team that's 10-2-1 and go, I don't know. I don't know if they're
tough.
The Red Blacks have been very, very a rambunctious team.
Quite a flex too when you can drop your leading rusher midway through the season due to, and the attitude, Rock Armstead and all that, but
off the field stuff.
To kind of get rid of a guy like that and still, I mean, that's quite a flex that you can kind of exhibit there. I like the Red Blacks in this one at home. That TD, they'll be bouncing.
If Jason Moss and the Alouettes can pull off a win against the Red Blacks, I think that gets them right back on track. Right?
Yeah,
because
for them, this is a huge
one.
The
Red Blacks are still, they have their hopes set on maybe an outside chance at first.
Montreal wins tonight. I think they lock up home field at least, or whatever it is. But Red Blacks still would be trying for first spot.
Yeah.
So you like the Owls in this one minus the 2.5? Is that kind of where you're leaning?
No,
Moss and the boys.
Ottawa.
You like Ottawa?
I do like Ottawa.
I like Ottawa too.
But if Montreal pulls off the win, I think that gives them that confidence that they are the premier team in the CFL. And they can string together.
At least in the East.
String together a few convincing wins or good wins and fine-tune their game going into the postseason. I think they're going to be okay.
The final one, again, Bombers, Elks, both teams coming off a bye. The Bombers head into this one right now at coolbet.com, -1.5. You like the Elks +1.5 in this one? Again,
I like the Elks at home. I think the split would be good for the Elks, obviously, if they went 2-0 against the Bombers and continued this hot stretch.
The vibe is going to be so high here.
It will be excellent.
+108 on the money line.
But Winnipeg's been playing good football. They're finding ways.
And as Marshall said, that it's that experience. Been there, done that, right?
That's becoming the championship caliber team again that they have been for the last, 5-6 years.
They got the league right where they want them.
Yeah, it is an aging, not dynasty, but nice run for the Bombers. I like Edmonton this weekend. I think it's going to be tough next weekend in Winnipeg.
I hear that. I can see that split going.
Yeah, I think it's the home team winning both of those games.
Coolbet.com is where you can go. Have a little fun with the Canadian Football League this week. It's going to be a fun week. And again, the playoff picture kind of crystallizing as each one goes now, but especially this fascinating as we could have a lot of storylines and teams already thinking next year country by the start of next week or perhaps not. So coolbet.com is where you can go. Stay cool, bet responsibly with our good pals up there, Jake Bolenmoss, P. Greggy, and the crew. 7:44. We were supposed to have the coach, Herm Edwards, making his Edmonton Sports Talk debut on the Nielson Show here, and the comments and concerns continue to fly in, both in the Nasty Chat and the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. I mean, it's all over the place, and Suits is well involved in all of this.
Of course. How is he does he know Herm Edwards by any chance?
Well, Nash Osborne says Suitor, a.k.a. chopped liver. That's making the rounds as well. Dusty should start a podcast, BFF's Football Talk with Herm and Suits. So Sheldon looking for the triad, the threesome, if you will, in this relationship. Bring them all in under the big tent, right? Talk a little CFL, talk a little NFL.
A little kumbaya moment.
Everybody's happy in that regard. The Godfather chiming in. T-Roy, good to see you last night. Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Dusty and Herm are a carbon copy of Tom and the Pickle Patch. As you made your maiden voyage last night with the Dill Pickle Hockey Show. Yes. That's gherkins and Vlasics all over the place, hey? Down there at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge.
It's a Vlasic.
I love that. Stork
classic
there?
Commercial, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get over it again. Herm Edwards scheduled to join us right now throughout the NFL season on Friday, and a great get as well. I like him on a Friday, recapping the Thursday Nighter, setting up the week to come in the NFL. Want to get back, though, as promised. We will stick to the Oilers talk as we started off this hour, and we'll cap it with as well. And we'll let you know, too, just in a programming note as we were on that vibe, the Reed Wilkins Show with Jason Milne live today at Sit and Sleep. And let's get to the text that Jason sent. I think we've already mentioned this now 5 times. We should have a little counter, a dinger, if you will, for this one. But Reed Wilkins Show live. Location today, Sit and Sleep, 9738 19th Avenue, South Edmonton Common, beside Planet Fitness. Feel free to mention throughout the day, he says. But again, feel free to head on down and join the boys. Have a sleep with them. Again, I hope they're in their, proper pajama attire with the little sleeping caps and everything. I think it'd be great. At least tucked into a bed doing the show in a big bed, like
that would be so fitting and adorable.
Yeah.
For those two to do something like that. But I never understood the pajama cap. Like, was that ever really a thing, or is that just for show?
I think that's
on old timey.
It's a bougie. It's a very demure.
Oh, don't you use demure? That is so bespoke of you.
But it's for people, like, again, we talked the other day. Pajamas are just pajamas, but pajamas are that's the cut above. They're folded up. They have a nice crease. You have the cap. You have the matching slippers. The whole bit. It's more of like a European type of silver spoon.
Panache.
Panache, demure, whatever word you want to use.
I hate that. She's so demure. He's so bespoke.
Controversy nomination, Library Pat says, Big Daddy Davos encouraging Herm E to push his first EST hit. Surveyor Brett, put it in your phone, Library Pat. So maybe that does at least get in the running for an ST next year. But back to the Oilers. AJ in Montreal wants to know, is Mike Hoffman still with that crazy woman? I don't know if we need to...
I don't know his personal life that well, to be honest with you, but I do think it was interesting that Matt Cassian had a few things on Two Guys in a Goal yesterday. He's like, I have some Mike Hoffman stories. My wife has some Mike Hoffman stories. They're not fit for air. And I was like, oh, I need to talk to Cass.
Well, and
they were teammates in Ottawa.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, and people can fill in their own blanks there. But again,
that leads to bad rumors and most of the time incorrect ones. But I don't know if he's still with her. And if you don't recall what that is alluding to, the text, it is the spat between Mike Hoffman, his wife, and Erik Karlsson and his wife.
And these are things that, again, affect on-ice relation. Like, this is,
it can, and it has. And Edmonton isn't the only place
this is business,
Yeah, it's every market, every city, every team. There's always stuff going on behind the scenes.
But I think with the Oilers, too, and how this has been kind of a market, arguably, for second chances and such over the years. We've seen, and guys coming in and getting another crack at things. And
yes.
I mean, Alberta Shank says in the Nasty Chat, Oilers learned from losing to Vegas, Avs, and Panthers yet. They sure must know everything now except how to win, I guess. Have they gone through the gauntlet? Has this been enough? We saw the Panthers model from last year. They're looking to kind of replicate that. But how many other lessons?
What else can you learn?
Well, I've also said, too, like, who else right now? And feel free to chime in. Paris Drewler's inbox, 780-218-9999, or in the Nasty Chat. Who's standing in the way? Who's that other team that you feel has a date with destiny right now, whether in the West or the East?
Right now,
Leafs
September 20th,
right?
Nobody.
Yeah.
However, Maple Leafs, Craig Berube sending a message on day one after, we saw Austin Matthews lead the stretch first time as captain. Look out. Just kidding.
Ain't happening.
No. You know what, Eric? I think, and this always seems to happen, is one team will get hot out of the gate, will emerge as like the surprise juggernaut of the NHL.
Sexy story.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be the Oilers. Like, the Oilers have their holes on their roster that they're going to have to try to figure out, and we're going to see if, Troy Stetcher, Ty Emberson, and Josh Brown are adequate enough before Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson could go out there and improve the right side of the defense midseason, because that is likely what is going to happen. And then will they be good out of the gates this year? Will they get goaltending from Stu Skinner? Will the team defense be good? Are they going to fall to 2-9-1 and lose to San Jose on November 9th and have the worst game of their season and be shredded by the rant of the year on EST? I hope not.
An award-winning time for you.
How prestigious. Anyway, listen,
but
I
who
don't
else?
think
If
that's
not
going to
them,
happen.
who? Like,
I don't know, because the Golden Knights, yesterday they're talking about them being the de facto threat to the Oilers in the Pacific. And then the best response to that was the Oilers are the best and biggest threat to the Oilers. And I laughed when I heard that text read out, and I was like, that's a great point.
It's probably the correct answer when we get all to this.
So, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and I know yesterday we talked about threats or who's going to push them within the division. But just as a whole, in competing with the Cup, and Trev, if you had an idea too, we can look to the East. Of course, that's who you play when you get to the Stanley Cup final. But who else right now has the storyline? We talked for years about the Carolina Hurricanes trying to announce themselves on that, but I
think the Canes window is closed, by the way.
That's done.
I think it's over.
The Rangers put up a good fight last year.
But there's been some cracks. I mean, Jacob Trouba, their captain, likely on his way out.
Again, all of these teams that have kind of been there, now you kind of, the leaves falling off the tree, pun intended. But you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see that type of storyline heading into and then galvanizing a team with that type of hunger that the Oilers currently have. I don't, again, for the purpose of the question yesterday, it was kind of the Golden Knights. I think you can rule Radko Gudas's Ducks out of the, the
How
Pacific,
dare you not
the
give them a
Pacific is
chance?
what it is. The Kings are always a bit of a thorny. Warren Fogle mixing up yesterday as well, too. Yesterday in Kings.
Vogue Daddy.
Special Agent Fogle down there.
Right.
But Trev, anybody Central, East Conference as a whole, I'm failing to find one.
You're absolutely correct. Both of you are. Like, the only team I was kind of considering is maybe the Rangers. But Tommy had said, like, every powerhouse team, it just seems they have some holes in their lineup. Like with the Vegas Golden Knights, they've got really good. Their defense is it's unmatched, I'd say.
That's a good point.
Their wingers are very they have no crazy good wingers right now, especially on the left side. It's just there's a lot of holes. There are a lot of holes on a lot of the teams. Just looking at the Hurricanes lineup as well, like their window is. It's definitely they lost a lot. The Florida Panthers as well. So I hate to say it, but I really do think I agree with what the texter said yesterday. It's the Oilers themselves. Like, that's their biggest threat. I think they are the team. They've got two of the best players in the world. Their top six is unmatched. Their defense, here's hoping they've got a decent three on the back end there, and goaltending should be pretty good. So. I think it's theirs. It's really their season. But I'd maybe say I'd still give it the New York Rangers. I still think that might be a pretty big threat out east.
There's a text that came in. You like it? Go for it. Go for it.
This and
good reminder.
Not to say I've been waiting for this, but this is where I kind of wanted to go. And I go to the Central on a couple of fronts here. But Rhino texts in Nashville.
Yes.
Barry Trotz.
Good reminder.
Very aggressive.
Yep.
Free agency. I also kind of look, do you guys have any at all time for the Dallas Stars in terms of getting where they are? A lot of good kind of young talent, goaltending we know of that can also propel you and take you over the top.
I think Dallas will have a similar season to what it had last year.
Yeah, which is right
That's
there.
A team that should be right there.
But Nashville, in terms of again, last year they were kind of flirting with that wild card positioning and such. You would expect an improvement. Maybe that's the team to pose an answer to this question.
Yeah, Nashville and Dallas are good retorts to that question, and my bad for not looking to the Central like that. I thought of Colorado right away, but it's like, well, that's a good team, but they've lost key players. I know they're expecting to get Landeskog back, which is great. their emotional leader. He's a great player when healthy, and the knee thing has been just a rough couple of years for him. So, yeah, there's some damn good teams. And Nashville's it's going to be interesting because now they have some added offensive punch. Defensively, they've been pretty decent, and then now they have Saros locked in for an extension.
Yep.
They have a lot of elements that you like. Last year, they weren't offensively deep. They had one line, O'Reilly's line, with Forsberg. And after that, it was like...
Was it the Swedish meatballs or whatever it was?
Swedish meatballs.
No, I like what they're cooking. Alberta Schenk adds to it in the Nasty Chat. Stars, Preds. He also goes on to mention the Avs and the Jets.
Winnipeg...
Is that kind of the line where you cut?
Winnipeg's interesting. They're like an enigma. Like, you look at the team and the roster year after year, and you're like, that's pretty good. It should be a good team. Great goaltending.
Depth, but not high end. Hey, I guess like we had Jamie Thomas on yesterday, but like a lot of just a good team with a great goaltender.
Yes.
And as Trev mentioned, too, one of the handful of guys that really kind of can take a team and elevate it truly.
Right. And like them with Ehlers, I remember listening earlier, I think it was when JT was on, asking about Ehlers and where that situation is. Like, are they shopping him? Is he sticking around? Are they going to play him more? Give him power play time? I don't know. There's a talented player who's kind of, it feels like a little bit stuck in limbo, and I don't know where that goes.
Basically, from what I'm getting here in the tone in the Nasty Chat in the Paris Jewelers inbox is get through the West. If you make it to the Cup final,
worry about your own mess.
There's really nothing standing in your way in the East because a lot of people are buying on the Central. Justin of Belgoni says, don't sleep on Colorado. Library Pat says, for me, it's the Avs. He goes into goaltending in that duel with Hellebuck. Dallas, a lot of votes for Dallas here as well. Rob says, don't forget, Leon Draisaitl is the mayor of Nashville. Too true there. I mean, he's had his way. He doesn't buy a drink in that town, right? Or he's not allowed to buy a drink, whatever kind of saying you want to use there. But yeah, I guess the Central pretty much is the answer, and you can take a pick from, whether it's the Stars, Preds, or maybe even going down Avs and or Jets for a couple of you there. But again, are they like even the Preds now? Is that a cup winning roster compared to what the Oilers have too? And I know we talked defense earlier, but just in terms of hunger and want.
I think if you look at the Preds, especially the offseason that they had, you go, oh, that's pretty damn impressive. And then they too, like the Oilers, where they identify deficiencies on their roster, will try to address it mid-season to make them a legit contender, or to create the belief within that locker room, and
that's creating that belief.
And then on the outside, if they start to put it together, everybody will start to recognize, like, hey, Nashville might have just reopened their window. Because remember, they had that good, really nice 4 or 5 year stretch.
Absolutely.
Cup final appearance, losing to Pittsburgh, and then it went away, and they were expected to retool. That's how the Oilers ended up with Ekholm. Now all of a sudden, it's like, hey, look out. Like, they came on really strong late last year.
Rams fan, we'll finish it up here. Calgary Flames have a date with Destiny, the Destiny of hot trash. What do you think of that one, boys?
That's on fire.
But I'll say, again, I don't think any team, though, has the motivation and the quite clearly of what happened last year to get it over the hump. And roster building aside and all of that, we've had a good exercise here in naming the names and going over the teams specifically in the Central.
Yes.
But, I mean, if you get past them, you got to be hoisting that cup. Aren't the Canucks back on the ice? Joel says in the Nasty Chat, all caps.
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Like,
remember Thatcher Demko?
Yep.
Yeah. An injury that nobody's
play with an injury.
Nobody's seen before in hockey.
Okay.
That's what I heard. They've never seen it before in a hockey player.
He's the first. I don't know. Like, they had a great year, like post to post last year, and took Edmonton to 7 games with Arturs Shilovs. I think they're going to be good, and in a perceived to be weak Pacific Division will probably be in the mix for a playoff. They
could be biting up there, hey?
Yeah, I see them the same as the LA Kings.
Your thoughts on this and more Any questions you have for Tommy as well relating to day one of the skating at Oilers Camp, 780-218-9999 is the Paris Jewelers inbox. And if you had a little flair to your text as well, you might be in the mix for text of the day, $20 to A&W this morning. Nasty Chat's humming along, close to changing 200. We'll easily get to that in hour number 3. On the way in hour number 3, kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. That's coming right up. That hurts for James H. Brown, and we all got a little bit of a pain, a bit of a sting this morning with our guest that was scheduled. Trevor's still drying his eyes this morning, but we'll get to that around 8:20. That's ahead of, and you know what? We'll have a beer of the week to kind of ease that pain from our good friends at Far Beer. That'll be coming up as well as they'll be talking about Oktoberfest and how you can attend that. The Nielson Show, presented by Southport Chevrolet. Drive a little, save a lot. Go see Daniel and his family-friendly team at Southport Chev. Tell them EST sent you. You'll get additional $1,000 credit on your trade-in vehicle. They won't be beaten on any price. Find the best deal you think you can and then take it out to the fort and they'll beat it. Great financing rates during the month of September. Silverados and heavy duties, visit www.southfortchev.com. We will be out there October 4th, the entire EST team. And I want to let you know today as well that the Reed Wilkins Show with Jason Mill, Sit and Sleep, South Edmonton Common today. That's going on 3 to 6, of course, afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. So a full plate today at Edmonton Sports Talk. Right now, though, we'd like a contestant for Kinda Easy Trivia. Text in 780-218-9999. Text Trev, I want to play. And he'll pick a lucky texter, 780-218-9999. A gift certificate to Mr. Mike's is on the line. All you need is 3 out of 5. Kinda easy. Are you want to, we can... You always have the easiest for Kinda Easy Trivia.
You want me to do Kinda Easy Trivia?
You can,
I can do it.
Yeah.
Just need a minute to come up with some just absolutely punishing questions.
30 seconds, I think, is all you'll need here. So text in 780-218-9999 if you want to play the trivia. That's coming up next. A sports update right now for Tom Gazzola. And we'll be back for our number 3, Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric, Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
In the NFL, Week 3 underway. Aaron Rodgers had a strong and long-anticipated home debut as the New York Jets pummeled the New England Patriots 24-3 in the Thursday Nighter. The 40-year-old QB threw for 2 touchdowns, and he went 27 for 35, putting up 281 yards in the air as the Jets snapped an 8-game home losing streak in the National Hockey League. Oilers training camp does continue today. First day of on-ice sessions yesterday did feature Darnell Nurse skating alongside newcomer Ty Emberson. Nurse is healing up a lingering injury from the playoffs, is expected to get into preseason games later on in camp. Day 2 of on-ice work goes at 9:30 this morning down at Rogers Place. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, breaking news. Wayne Scanlon, who writes about the Sens for Sportsnet, is reporting to, quote, expect an announcement today that the Senators have reached an agreement with the NCC to build an arena and other amenities on LeBreton Flats. The Senators will have a media conference this afternoon, unquote. In the CFL, Week 16 gets underway tonight on TSN. The Ticats look to keep their playoff hopes alive as they visit the Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field. And the second half of tonight's doubleheader, we'll see the 5-7-1 Saskatchewan Roughriders visit McMahon Stadium to duke it out with the 4-8-1 Stamps. Dustin Nielson will have the call in that one. Kickoff set for 7:30. Of course, tomorrow at 5 down at Commonwealth, the Elks host the Bombers. And then finally in the NBA, Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers have agreed to a 3-year extension, reportedly worth $193.5 million. The Philadelphia 76ers superstar center revealed Friday morning on Instagram that he agreed to a contract extension with the team. This will guarantee Embiid $301 million over the next 5 years from the Sixers. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reporting that this deal will take Embiid's career earnings to $514.8 million. This sports update was brought to you by Claiborne Services. Take your career to the next level with Claiborne Services. They're hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program. Work with peace of mind knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.claiborneservices.com or make it easy. Give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728. That's your EST update. I'm Tom Gazzola.
What say you? Dynasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, Nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, not tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind? 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Dusty and Eric and all of the bad cats like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it if it's a fun but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat us the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about Amanda Games? Macarmel, Rapaport, Dragger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him give a present, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
8:06, you're listening to The Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, your clear choice for Edmonton sports, streaming on the iHeart and TuneIn radio app, and as always on YouTube. It's a beautiful thing. New graphics as well on the YouTube, looking very nice and sharp. Once again, coming up today, the Reed Wilkins Show on the road with Jason Milne. They'll be at Sit and Sleep, South Edmonton Common. Go see the boys. Check them out today. We'll have more on that coming up later in this hour. And, of course, EST afternoons with Gager and Hernan locked in as well. The Hangout. Are you doing Hangout? Like, what's the...
No, not today. Because
okay.
then I'm going to go to the rink.
Okay.
And then go to the home studios. Or maybe I'll do oil stream from...
You have options.
I have options.
Yeah. I like this, and I appreciate your time this morning as well. And thank you for joining me, Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge last night for the Thursday nighter.
It was an absolute delight.
A little bit of soup, a little bit of that smoked brisket cheesesteak.
That's what good friends do. They stick together.
Well, it's National Respect Day, I learned. So a lot of respect flowing around in this room between all three of us today.
Yes.
So thank you for your time this morning. Filling in for Dustin Nielson. He has the call tonight. Riders and Stamps down in Calgary. He'll be back in town tomorrow for the big one. Elks and Bombers, both teams coming off a bye at Commonwealth, 5 o'clock. And you can join Maddie and Milne back at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge tomorrow for the Green and Gold Kickoff Show. That'll hit the airwaves here on EST at 4 o'clock, getting you set for the game. And the boys will also be by following the game to break it down on the post-game show. We are coming to you live this morning. Myself, Lieutenant Eric, Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio, where it's always hot in here, especially today, given the events that happened in hour number 2, and we'll get to more on that during 3 questions too many today. But now time for a little kind of easy trivia. And it's for Mr. Mike's this morning. You know him, you love him. Few of us can say we're over 60 and still hot.
Heyo.
But Mr. Mike's Mike Burger can. To celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's most famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99, sides extra. Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30, so time ticking down, 10 days. Eat locally, enjoy casually. Mr. Mike's GC on the line this morning.
I'm going to Mr. Mike's tonight. The whole fam family.
Is this the final send-off for the brother? Or is he?
Yeah.
And a meal at Mr. Mike's, a little golfing yesterday. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Mike's tonight. Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
You're going to get mad. The madness is going to... Mike Burgers all around.
Mike Burgers, sirloin bites.
I love those sirloin
Delicious
bites,
dipping
man.
sauces.
And the sauce
Anyway.
with it, too. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. So join Tommy tonight, maybe, eh?
Hello.
Sit from afar. There's always room for one more at your table with your family, right?
We're very welcoming.
Exactly.
Family.
I love it. I still remember helping you move with your uncles, and that was a fun afternoon.
That
man.
was a fun afternoon.
I
There was a
really
lot
had
of
enjoyed myself.
driving back and forth. Hey now.
Who's playing today, Trev? Who do we got on the line?
This is Chris.
Chris.
How do you say it like that?
Is that how he said it?
I don't know. I just felt like saying it like that, Tommy.
Did Chris say it like that?
Nope.
Okay.
But this is Chris.
Good morning, Chris. How are you? Did we have him?
Darn it. 1 second.
Did you hang up on Chris?
Chris with a K? I always like to CH Chris, like a Christian.
Chris, K-R-I-S.
I used to be friends with a Chris with a K. But it was Christopher with a K.
Ah.
Very weird. I think he was Belgian.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's Chris Kringle, Belgian. Trev's figuring it out.
He is on the line, though. That's okay. We'll get him.
He has not
It's
hung
just a
up
matter
on
of
you.
time. No, that's good. I don't want. You hate when you bring somebody on and then you got to go back in the pond and bring in a different, because then you feel bad for Chris.
It's happened before.
Oh, yeah,
We've dealt with this
yeah.
before. He's figuring it out. There he is. Hello, Chris. Are you there?
I am here.
All right. You ready for kind of easy trivia?
Sure am.
Okay. Well, Trevor's losing his mind over there. I'm sorry. I respect him
good.
on National Respect Day, but I don't respect him flubbing up getting you on the air. I'm just kidding. Chris, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Let's get that ticker ready. Chris, did the New York Jets win last night against the Pats?
Yes, they did.
Shohei Ohtani plays for which MLB team?
Dodgers.
Who do the Elks play tomorrow?
Bombers.
Did do the Oilers skate this morning at Rogers Place?
Yes.
Who does Dustin Nielson like more, Glenn Suter or Herm Edwards?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably Suits, but could be Herm.
There's no wrong answer.
5 out of 5. He's going after Mike.
Chris.
And he got it!
That is why I did it! At number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right!
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a peddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a peddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a peddling.
The first year we took it to the limit. Take it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Chris is off to Mr. Mike's. He's going to get mad. It's the Mike Burger madness. Woo. Going 5 for 5. Hey, shall we say? I mean, it was a bit of a tie in the final one, but
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely. Nailed
could go
it.
either way. Bit of a wild card there.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Trev, you nailed it as the 87. Oh, it's all good, man. We're having a good time. It's a nice Friday night, Friday morning show, I guess, here on the Nielson Show. Once again, hangout coming up. I mean, we got the beers coming in. Sobeys Safely Liquor Beer of the Week. That Hurts coming up as well.
Yep.
Chris, enjoy Mr. Mike's, man. We'll get you in. You come get that GC, and you can be on your way. 3 questions too many right now as we roll on the Nielsen Show, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. And yet again, I want to bring it to your attention that tomorrow you can check out their demo vehicle sale, CX-5, CX-50, CX-90s. Demo vehicles for sale, all loaded with accessories. It's their best demo sale yet. So go down and see dealer principal Mitch Lewicki today or tomorrow, primarily for that demo sale. ParkMazda.ca for details. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Tom, you are Oilers beat man. Where can people follow you on Twitter if they don't know already?
Oh, yes. At Tom Gazzola. That's it. Very simple. TOMGAZZ.
You got it before anybody else. No underscore, no, you know?
No, but in the Instagram world, there is a Tom Gazzola out there who beat me to it somehow. So I had to add an underscore.
You'll have to meet him, schedule a meeting, and exchange money for the handle.
I will not. I'm not even going to entertain this idea.
YouTube Trev, where can people find you on the socials? You had a momentous Twitter epiphany, I want to say. What was it, last week? Or time escapes me here. But you
2 weeks ago now.
You beat Jason to the punch, right? I mean, let's just say that. It's
I did, with the help of you and Dusty.
That's the A
definitely
nasty.
wouldn't have been able to do without you guys. So yeah, that was awesome. But you can follow me and see what I'm up to every day on the Twitter world, the world of Twitter. YouTube_Trev. It's a crazy time. I post the craziest things. Oh my gosh,
all the time.
You need to.
That's Twitter, baby.
The other day I made corn on the cob. It was a riveting photo I posted. So if you want to see that, give me a follow.
Do you eat it with a fork and knife like Ryan Bartholomew Rashog?
No. Oh, is that no?
That's a thing.
I make fun of that's
Street
the
corn.
dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, it is.
I am. That's you'd get run out of town from Tabor.
That's why he lives in Sherwood Park,
which is the corn capital of Canada, might I add. So yeah, you cannot do that back home.
I respect
YouTube_Trev.
Well, there we have it. And again, I just want to say, I know the Reed Wilkins show, which will be live at Sit and Sleep today, South Edmonton Common. Reed Wilkins alongside Jason Milne. Go check out the boys today. 9738 19th Avenue, South Edmonton Common, beside the Planet Fitness, as they'll be there at Sit and Sleep. But they're coming hard after us. It's the PM Nasty v. the AM Nasty now.
I like this.
You got to have a bit of friendly rivalry. This is NWO Hollywood v. NWO Wolfpack. We call dibs on the Hollywood, the black and white. They can be the Wolfpack all they want, but I do like the kind of the rivalry developing between mornings and afternoons. It's kind of how it should be, but albeit under the same umbrella in brand.
Get your popcorn.
Get your popcorn, and again, but support Trev. Give him a follow today at YouTube_Trev. Bing bang. Question number 1, and feel free, we can go around the horn here. If you were starting a Formula One team, which EST sponsor would you like prominently featured on your livery?
Oh,
I say both because And there's no wrong answer here either.
No,
I think you can kind of, but I guess maybe, and also a color scheme to match.
That's what I'm thinking.
That it all has to kind of meld into one here, as we were discussing the fall of Red Bull earlier this morning with one Marshall Ferguson.
Yeah. Like if you went with Cool Bet, you can essentially
that would look like
any color.
It'd be a hot car too, hey?
And it's a polar bear logo,
on there,
right?
And the
so
multicolor.
that's pretty good. But you love chicken. I love chicken. I love fried chicken.
You love fried chicken. It's fried chicken.
I love it. You go with Popeyes. Maybe. I think Cool Bet gives you a lot of options because it is an.
And the black
logo.
background, like you got that black starter, and then you can kind of go from there.
Yes.
Very intimidating.
You start with that, and then you get like the black base, and then you get the colors of Cool Bet, and then all the secondary logos and sponsors on your livery.
Yeah.
Put it
Everybody
in all
else would be out there. Yeah, we're not just the primary one. Of course, all the rest would be on your suit, on the all around the car, and dancing around. I like that one. That's a strong one. I was thinking maybe you'd go Italian Center Shop. Given your,
I understand that.
I'm just,
it's just that logo is so like classic Italian that it doesn't scream Formula.
No,
me.
it'd be more of like a cream color on there, kind of thing, with the red bouncing off.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like it gives me a Haas vibe. Yeah,
vibe.
I'm like, and Haas, like, listen, good for them for picking up some points,
Well,
but
got to
not
give the
the
dog a
hottest
bone
team right now.
Not the hottest. No,
but I will
that.
take a Panino. Anybody that's out there,
they would be featured on the vehicle. Yeah,
of course they would be.
Trev, do you got any? Would you go anywhere specific in terms of color, in terms of just sponsorship, and what kind of speaks to you here on Edmonton Sports Talk?
I'm looking at it right now, and it's a segment we will be having in about T-minus 30 minutes.
I like it.
And my favorite color is green. So
Okay.
the Sobeys Liquor, the beer of the week. Sobeys and Safeway Liquor beer of the week. That's
That would
what
tie in with Green Plan too. That could be like a.
You could have a
threat.
dual.
I'd have both.
Yeah.
I want all the green, so I like that. Yeah, that's what I would do.
But like, there's so many options.
Well, it's
many
fun to
great
kind
options.
of imagine an A&W Formula One.
That, like, and the brown.
That would look
instead
slick,
of-
You could have the bear coming out, every once in a while.
and orange highlights.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
James H. Brown, that yellow would be that would pop.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
would
saying?
pop.
We already know the tent at the tailgate.
Yeah.
That's next to us there. And the wrap, Southport Chevrolet. I mean, you got the car like that. That's
William Huff would be.
car logo there.
It's like an elegant logo. The William Huff.
William Huff would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an LP.
There's a lot of options.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay Milne says there's only one answer for obvious reasons, William Huff. And it would be the wrap, as, they could wrap the car.
It would
as they
literally wrap the car.
wrap the studio. I like this exercise.
That's a
And
good
again,
question.
everybody would be prominently featured. I'm just thinking the title on your car and with the color mix in. I like. Please feel free to play along. 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. Fun little exercise on a Friday morning here. Question number 2, it is National Respect Day. Who do you have the most respect for in your life?
My mom.
Is she in the room with us right now?
No.
Yeah. What would she say to you saying that?
I love you, my baby. Oh my God.
Had a good day.
Baby.
I wrapped my arms around here at the Estes. It was nice. And your father as well there and all that.
He's good people. I don't know. Mom, I guess.
Bit of a lame question. I know on National Respect Day, I guess. But Trev, any thoughts there? Yeah.
I was going to mention this special lady to me, but the other night when I won Rookie of the Year, but I was already pretty emotional, and so if I would have been crying even way more. But yeah, it's definitely my grandma. She means so much to me. Oh, she sacrificed so much for me just growing up and me living with her. You know, I asked, and she was like, "Yeah, absolutely, best years of my life with grandma and grandpa and doing all the chores and all that." Oh, I spent, and then they'd let me fish as much as possible. So I love grandma. That's, I have so much respect for her. She works her heart. Like she was a nurse for over 40 years. So just an unbelievable person, heart of gold. Love you, grandma.
And she would probably also accept a kiss from you if you tried, correct?
Oh yeah, she absolutely would.
She would.
Yeah,
she would
that
be
still hurts.
Ducking and dodging.
Oh gosh,
Why?
Rookie of the Year. What the heck was that?
Respect on this, yeah. But no, the celebration continues for YouTube Trev. He'll be at the Elks tailgate tomorrow, next to the James H. Brown tent. Follow the music. They're right by the stage. The cornhole will be out. I noticed the chips have been restocked in a big way. I mean, we got chips coming out of baby. They'll be popping out of the cornhole holes, bags of chips all over the place.
Goodness.
Of course, the waters from Damon Bunting will be also. So
excellent.
It'll be a good day. Go and see Trev. Congratulate him on the Rookie of the Year, and maybe he'll let you touch the trophy, or maybe even get a picture with it. And if he tries to kiss you, don't turn away because
he's a kisser.
And he deserves it. He does.
Who do you respect most?
Who do I respect the most? Probably. Geez, that's a great question here. Respect.
It's
respect.
It's National Respect Day. You said, yeah.
Respect. I'll have to say my wife.
That's beautiful.
My wife, because she's done a lot, and she was the one actually. Well, I know. There's a 1A and a 1B. Gager caught me off the stage. But also my wife drove me. Well, she didn't. Jess drove me. 1A, 1B, 1C. In no particular order. My wife, Jess Jackson, and Joaquin Gage.
Great trio.
You could live with that grouping.
Absolutely.
Hey, you go golfing with them. You could have a great time with them.
Whatever. They're excellent. Excellent people.
I denied the ride so many times Tuesday night.
I love how they came across you. You were
and
walking.
Guy Flaming in the back.
Yeah.
In the back alley there. We're having a nice moment. And I respect Guy as well. As the Oil Kings kick off their season tonight in Lethbridge as well.
Yes.
So he's, and I think, betting a little high on them, maybe perhaps not like the Medicine Hat Tigers, but we welcome Guy in the Pipeline Show. Big award winner. Waking up with the award. You saw that tucked into his bed and everything too. So.
It's beautiful.
Rob says, Aretha Franklin, I will show myself out. Very, very good there.
Nicely done.
Question number 3 to wrap up 3 questions too many. Just ahead of that hurts for James H. Brown injury lawyers. Bigger stat night. Gagne's 8 points or Shohei going 50 for 50?
Gagne's 8 points was an amazing night, but
given the player he is,
yes.
I mean, we all expected it from Shohei. It's not
that was wild,
surprise.
but Shohei Ohtani hands down, 10 RBIs, 6 for 6, 20-4 final. What else did he?
I know we're probably not giving it as much, love as we should this morning, but yeah, game 10 plus RBIs, 6 plus hits, 5 plus extra base hits. Yeah. 3 plus home runs and 2 plus stolen bases.
And he just missed the cycle, right? Like, that's insane.
Well, and that's why maybe you give it to Gagne here.
No.
Sam Gagne, 8 points, man.
With all due respect
who saw
to
it
Sam.
coming?
Yeah.
I know where you're going on this one, Trev. It's got to be Sam.
No, as far as it's super impressive, and yeah, who'd have thunk it? Sam Gagne of all people, but 8 points has been done before. What Shohei Ohtani, it was being quoted as the most historic offensive night in MLB history. That was just crazy. That was legit
Unreal.
history. No one's ever done that. That was Shohei Ohtani. That takes the cake. And Gags, I'm sorry.
He's 20-2 offended.
20-2. Oh, well, he's he won't be kissing you anytime soon. 20-2. Dodgers over the Marlins. Spectacular, clinching a playoff spot too, and all that hecticness, but still some track to go for Ohtani. The Dodgers will close out the season final series in Colorado, so still some room to grow here in this 50-50. And again, not pitching this season as well. So, but as Rip City Step kindly corrected us earlier, the bases and everything,
he's a purist.
MLB made it more easier for him, and we all remember the steroid era. I have great respect for the steroid era. I think the 4. Gager, my wife, Jess Jackson, in the steroid era in Major League Baseball.
It made for great baseball, totally juiced up.
Yeah.
But still, great moments, great baseball, and then everybody repented.
You knew where you were, right? When all those kind of big heads and
I was kind of rooting for Sammy Sosa.
You were, hey,
to be more fun and likable.
Yeah, he's really kind of gone off the rails.
Yeah.
Uncorked, shall we say.
Speaking of that, so too has Jose Canseco, obviously, and he wrote the book. Juiced.
They all have. Yeah.
That's a great book, full of crazy stories. I don't know how much of it is true. Even if one portion of every one of those stories is true, they're still amazing.
What's he? You said Canseco, hey?
Yeah, he sold his car wash in Vegas.
Did he? Because he was always on Twitter. We had during the pandemic, we had like a Canseco segment where we would read his tweets. But this is one 13 hours ago. Jose Canseco tweets: 35 years ago, I created the 40-40 Club.
All right.
Shohei Ohtani created the 50-50 Club tonight. Congratulations to him.
Oh boy.
So he's just gotta. We can't forget about Jose Canseco.
Right.
And 14 hours ago, he goes, in 1988, I created the 40-40 Club. 35 years. Like, he's mentioned this multiple times. Congratulations to him.
Who do you think you are?
But let it be known. Exactly. Jose Canseco was... so maybe I should have included Jose Canseco in that third question. Yeah. He's going after TikTokers as well. Jose Canseco, great follow on Twitter. Follow him today at Jose Canseco. Let's get into that hurts for James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. I know we're all kind of going collectively in this room, but that hurts. Brought to you by James H. Brown, the heavy hitters of injury law. Check them out today. If you've been injured in an accident, go to jameshbrown.com. And once again, they'll be set up next to the EST tent, tailgating down at Commonwealth. Go check them out. Big yellow tent next to the stage. Follow the music, and you'll see James H. Brown nestled right next to EST down there. But that hurts, I guess. I was very excited for it personally. I mean, Herm Edwards, I just wanted to talk some NFL ball, to be honest with you.
Band-Aid off.
I want to... Okay, do it. I want to talk week 3 in the NFL, and there's a lot of good storylines heading in. Also last night, Thursday, and the Jets and their win, and Aaron Rodgers running all over the field and exchanging, awkward hugs with Robert Saleh on the sidelines. But Herm Edwards, the coach, also wanted to get his thoughts on coaching at Arizona State, his time down in Tempe, the party school, shall we say, of collegiate sports down in the States. But nope, we got a text. YouTube Trev got a text, an email, and then he forwarded to me saying Herm cannot join us today. I immediately connected the dots.
Yeah.
Dustin Nielson got a call from Herm. They were texting. Dusty was pursuing him to be an NFL guest. Herm immediately calls him, which sent Dusty's, it just...
ouch.
To the moon.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been able to not talk about it since. He's brought it up in every sort of, we had the HR Daddy was in yesterday. We were going over code of conducts. Dusty was mentioning it in there. Hey, Herm Edwards called me, just totally unsolicited.
Herm Edwards doesn't have to abide by the code of conduct.
That type of thing.
I overheard that.
Yeah. So now he's yakking all up, and the email sent, to which Dusty sent YouTube Trev and I with Herm's details. He follows that email up in a Jose Canseco way. Tell him I'm sorry, I'm missing the first one. Do we have to mention you told him that on the phone? Mm-hmm. Now with all of this evidence in front of us here, I'm thinking that Herm now this morning maybe got a call from Dusty, since they're best friends now and they exchange phone calls regularly, that, hey, I'm not here today. Can we kind of push it to next week to make sure that I'm here and we don't have to go through the apology, and then Dusty kind of gets him? So I don't get Herm Edwards this morning. You don't get Herm Edwards.
I was looking forward to it.
You're filling in the odd time. You may not get a Herm again. Who knows? During the NFL season.
How dare you take this opportunity away from me?
YouTube Trev doesn't get to connect with him on the back end, and
Crying
you,
again.
the listener and the viewer, don't get any Herm Edwards this morning. That hurts.
You know what?
And clearly,
Secondary,
on National Respect Day.
Yeah, of all things, that hurts even more. And I'll add another layer to this. If you're Glenn Suter right now and you're discovering that Herm Edwards has usurped you as number 1 in Dusty Nielson's books, that hurts too.
I'd be looking over my shoulder, Glenn.
No more dinners.
No more night outs and memories down in Regina, hey, if you will.
Not anymore.
Nature Boy says, Dustin Nielson, that 2-timing son of a gun.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. And I think you'll hear Glenn a lot more than us, just in terms of the whole friendship triad now. But
call it a hunch.
Yeah, maybe they can all get together and do a football, little college, little CFL, little NFL. They can all
touch all bases.
Kumbaya there. But that hurts for James H. Brown Injury Lawyers. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown, heavy hitters of injury law, jameshbrown.com. Analsyt.com. We'll hit a sports update here for Sit and Sleep. Of course, Jason Milne and Reed Wilkins, they'll be taking their show live today from Sit and Sleep. That's 9738 19th Avenue, South Edmonton Common, beside the Planet Fitness. Go by and say hi. Check out what the boys are doing. It's a great show that we've added, now combining everything 6 to 6, the full run of shows here on EST, Monday to Friday. So go see them down there today. Tom's got a sports update for them, and we'll be back with a little Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week.
Hit it. Oilers training camp continues today. The first day of on-ice sessions did feature Darnell Nurse skating alongside newcomer Ty Emberson. Nurse continues to heal a lingering injury from the playoffs and is expected to get into preseason games later on in camp. Day 2 of on-ice work gets going at 9:30 today down at Rogers Place. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, Wayne Scanlon, who writes about the Sens for Sportsnet, is reporting to, quote, expect an announcement today that the Senators have reached an agreement with the NCC to build an arena and other amenities on LeBreton Flats. The Senators will have a media conference this afternoon, unquote. In the CFL, Week 16 gets underway tonight on TSN. The Ticats look to keep their playoff hopes alive as they visit the Toronto Argonauts at BMO Field. And then the second half of tonight's doubleheader will see the 5-7-1 Saskatchewan Roughriders visit McMahon Stadium to duke it out with the 4-8-1 Stampeders. Dustin Nielson will have the call in that one. Kickoff is set for 7:30. And in the NBA, Joel Embiid and the 76ers have agreed to a 3-year extension that is reportedly worth $193.5 million. This will guarantee Embiid $301 million over the next 5 years from the Sixers. And as ESPN's Ramona Shelburne reported, this deal takes Embiid's career earnings to a whopping $514.8 million. And in the AJHL, 6 games tonight locally, Kelly Bookberger's Devon Extreme welcome the Calgary Canucks to town. This sports update brought to you by Sit and Sleep. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payment for 18 months, interest-free. Be entered to win your purchase up to $5,000 on furniture and home decor. Next to Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common. The Reed Wilkins Show will be there from 3 to 6 as well. That's your EST Sports Update. I'm Tom Gazzola.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
You're tuned into the Nielson Show, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. We are streaming iHeart, TuneIn radio apps, and on YouTube, getting close to changing 200. It'd be a really nice... 195. Heck, we'll do that before Tommy gets back from the bathroom, for crying out loud. Hit the like, hit the sub if you haven't already as well. We do got Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week coming right up. I'm going to have to go get the beer. We do have our guest waiting in the bullpen. We will get to him shortly here and let you know what the deal is for Beer of the Week. An exciting time for beer as well, as this time of year always produces some fun parties and such, a la Oktoberfest. But I guess I don't want to leave the desk bare, and I'll wait for Tommy to get back, and then we'll get the beer. But we do have some beer courtesy Far. I do believe I'm pronouncing that right, and it's one of those beers that either I say it right or I say it wrong. Far, F-A-H-R. The first beer that I drank during the pandemic, locked inside the condo with the wife. I went out across the street, went to my little beer shop, and it was Far beer that I chose. I'll never forget it, because certainly during that time, there were a lot of times where you spent by yourself, and maybe you're inside sipping on some beers, but I had a good sample of each and every one. So Far beer holds something special to me, and of course, I've had it ever since then on multiple events, but that kind of sticks out to me. We got a good little event as well that Far will be participating in. Greg Van Zeist, or Zeist, and I want to get his pronunciation right, but he'll correct me on that. He'll be brought in a matter of minutes. Trev, let's hit the Beer of the Week music, and we'll be getting the beers.
Got it, Trev? I can't find it. Can't find the music?
Wait. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me. I don't want there to be awkward silence.
Our audience's time.
Yeah, I respect them as well. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go.
You know the music? Another installment of Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. Lieutenant Eric, Tom Gazzola in for Dustin Nielson this morning. YouTube Trev behind the monitors, keeping it locked down. And I do believe still, we'll be bringing in him here. And again, he can correct me on the name because I'm terrible at pronunciations. Usually it's the first guess I guess wrong, and then I'm corrected later. But Greg joins us. Greg Van Zeist.
Yeah. Hi. That's not Greg. But Greg is a little bit busy.
Oh, well, okay, then perfect. It doesn't matter to me. Then we'll just leave it at that. Who we got here? I was told Greg would be joining, but
yeah. No, it's me, Jochen Farr. So
okay,
I'm
right.
the guy that the beer is named after, right? But Greg is a little busy with a little party called Oktoberfest.
Yes. We see that now, and VP Sales Marketing Greg was supposed to join us. It's nice to have. I mean, the person that the beer is named after here. You'll get welcome to the show. We appreciate your time this morning, but let's dive into what you just said here. The Oktoberfest Grey Eagle Event Center. You guys are prominently figured in that. Let us know a little bit about the event and how our listeners and viewers can attend this.
Right. So. It's an annual event that we do every year, hence annual, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
It's in Calgary. It's at the Grey Eagle Event Center and Casino. It's the second year that we do it there. We've done it 3 years before in Turner Valley at the brewery. It's funny that you mentioned COVID because that's really when we started it, like that event. We started the first Oktoberfest we had there. We had during COVID. That was in 2020. That was fun. Getting 900 people out during COVID was a little surreal, but it was all approved by AHS as long as we had one wall and a roof, or no roof and 4 walls, and lots of funky regulations.
Yeah,
yeah, it was a time. Yeah.
This year's
Johan,
bigger
are we
and better.
doing Ziggy Zockies?
Oh, for sure. And yodeling contests and best dressed and Stein holdings and Schuhplattlers and beer and food and all of the above.
Oh, my goodness.
You mentioned Grey Eagle Resort and Casino tickets, Ticketmaster as well, and that goes, today and tomorrow, correct?
It's today and tomorrow. There's you can walk up there too. So we have door tickets as well. And we're expecting upwards of about 2,000 people. So that's a good party.
Yeah,
I love it. You, Tom was at one here in town, a different type of different type of thing, but tent, but same type of thing. I think people can expect the same type of vibe, that type of thing, party atmosphere and everything. But let's, what do we got?
It's a small organization, I think, that's doing it. I think it's called the Oilers.
Yes, very modestly small organization.
Very
that
local.
Has a very minimal impact around here. Touche.
So we're really happy to be part of their Oktoberfest as well, and it's giving us a little bit of the opportunity to really share the beer that we brew once a year with you folks up there.
Love it.
Take us through what we're going to sample today.
Yeah.
So the beer of the week is our mix pack that we have with Sobeys, and they've been an amazing partner for us. They've been supportive, and they decided to put our newest product that we have in their flyer, right? Like as the beer of the week. And that's our mixed packs. It's 12 pack, has four beers of each product in there. And it's a Hefe, I should say, the proper pronunciation. And then the Pils and the Copper, right?
Yep.
So the Hefe is my very near and dear beer. It's our best seller. It's the beer that started it all. It got a little bit of an award in 2020. Also, it's funny, 2020 was a great year for us.
Well, that's good, because a lot of people didn't say this.
But in 2020, it made the best wheat beer in the world, right? I think it was the first one in Canada that actually got that title.
Wow.
And yeah, it really is still our best seller. It's just so easy drinking. Whether you like bananas or not, it's you get the taste of bananas, a little bit of orange, a little bit of white pepper, and it's just really delicious.
I love a good.
Man, it's like it's what 8:40, and I still need to save my liver. It's tonight when Oktoberfest starts. It's a little.
Yeah, you pace yourself. You'll be all right. Yeah. Not your first rodeo. Hey, let's cheers to the FA. Cheers to Oktoberfest, and for you joining us this morning and to a successful weekend.
Cheers. Pacing, right?
Yes.
You gotta get them.
That's like it. Well,
The
Trev's freaking
banana,
out.
the
He loves
orange,
it.
right?
Like the flavor just like hits you right away on. Like I love it. And this, you talk about the banana, the citrus, the white pepper, like boom, and nice and smooth. It feels like.
Yes, but no bananas were actually harmed in the making of the process of the product.
Somebody in the Nasty Chat this morning, Rob from the Grove, says, walking with the zingers, and you are absolutely killing it here with a bit of a delay. But, I mean, you are right in the spirit of the things this morning. So we thank you for that. That's delicious. And I'm not a big banana fan either myself. But when you put it in the beer, I mean, you can do a lot with beer.
Yes.
And that just goes down smooth. Where do you want to go next?
I would go with the Pils next. So we go from lighter to darker, right? So the Pils is really, to me, that's the way we are making it. It's more of a Black Forest style Pilsner. That's where I grew up. It's kind of halfway between a Czech Pilsner and a Northern German Pilsner. So you get more body, but not as bitter, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's really, it's a full beer. You get tons of flavor in there. It's just amazing. It's my second favorite beer, I should say.
This is the second favorite?
All of them are.
It's like asking a parent which one of their kids is their favorite.
He respects
them all.
Yeah.
They're all the best. All right. What are we cheersing to? I'll just go to the weekend.
Well, we always like to do this on the Fridays here and all that. So he's already.
Johan's got he's got one. So prost.
Prost
to National Respect Day. I respect beer a hell of a lot. There we go. Whoa.
Right.
It's a bold Pilsner. Is that fair to say?
Yes. It's very flavorful. It's not the Pilsner that you get that has the bunnies on the can, you know?
No, it definitely is not. And you being from Saskatchewan, you respect that.
Well, it's a Southern Alberta, the Pilsner beer. I'm more of a bohemian man myself, but I want to ask you as well, where, a German, what part do you support a Bundesliga club or Bundesliga 2?
Yes, I do. I support Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund, yes. I'm a Mönchengladbach fan myself.
That's the wrong Borussia.
Up the Foals. It's good to talk about that, though. I love it. And Dortmund, you go to many games? Have you been back there? What's kind of the sit in the yellow wall ever or anything like that?
I've sat in the yellow wall exactly 0 times, but it's like really on the bucket list. It's amazing. I'm not from that area, but I've been a fan of that team since I could think of, right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
I
Same
don't
with
mind
the
watching them
Schwender Wild Wings in the DEL. It's a funny name. Like DEL teams have funny names, like the Polar Bears and the Roosters, but it's a.
They do have funny names, or the Thomas Saber Ice Tigers.
Yeah. There's that Oilers team in Norway as well, or whatever I think. But it's kind of it's funny over there with the hockey. But let's. What's the last one here? We're gonna do knocking down the threesome here.
Yeah, so that's my actual favorite beer. That's our copy. That was our original Oktoberfest beer. back then it was 6.5%, and then we decided, well, maybe it's a little strong for a lager. And then, so we toned it down to about 5.5. I like it because it's an amber lager. It's caramelly. It's a little almond, but it's also it's dry and it's not too sweet. It just really goes down. They all go down way too quickly.
Ain't that the truth? Especially on a Friday morning here, and leading into Oktoberfest as well.
Perfect start to the weekend.
Absolutely. Well, cheers to you filling in for Greg this morning. I just want to say that. I mean, it kind of threw us a curveball, but thank you again for taking the time and doing this. So I think a prost to Joaquin this morning.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
That is delicious. Oh, the caramel. I love that. I love it. As a big fan of caramel, this is 3 fantastic beers. Yeah, I just can't say enough.
Rob from the Grove says, love me a dark lager, and I have to agree there. That's kind of where I like to go here.
Yeah.
The Pilsner was great. I mean, they're all great in their own. He mentioned the banana, the orange, that type of flavor in the first. But this is where it's at.
No unfair. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we welcome him. We thank him again. And then I didn't need to learn the pronunciation of Greg's last name, which even helped a lot more.
And great zingers from Johan, and like that
he was on fire. I wish there wasn't a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
If he was in studio here, that would have been all the more better.
I know.
Once again, the information for that, if you are down Calgary way this weekend, both today and tomorrow, 5 o'clock to midnight tonight. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon till midnight tomorrow. Tickets, as mentioned, available on Ticketmaster, or you can walk up and purchase as well. Grey Eagle Event Center, Oktoberfest 2024, put on by Far Beer, and it's a great beer, a great brewery. Again, he mentioned Turner Valley, and I think you were kind of relieving yourself there earlier. It was the first kind of beer that I had a session with on my own when COVID kind of sprang. I bought it from my local, and it's one of those things. And he got into the event that they had. So adhering to German purity laws, Fair Brewers, more than 500 years of tradition into their locally crafted Alberta beers, and we thank them for their time this morning. So once again, Oktoberfest down Grey Eagle Event Center, Calgary, today and tomorrow, 5 to midnight, 2 to midnight. Go check it out. I know we got a lot of listeners and viewers down that way, so if you're looking for a little fun this weekend, you can mix that in with maybe the Stamps Riders game going down tonight as well, so that'd be a nice little pairing there for your fall weekend. It is 8:47. Let's... how did that, Trev? You like it, Trev's...
I poured
Get
Trev,
that in there, man. Get that down and gullet.
I poured him like
a healthy
tall
one?
ones, yeah.
I'm taking this, actually.
Take it. It's good. Zach to come text it in. Or the Coob, as he likes to call himself, wants the hef.
Okay, we got a couple still in the fridge too. Yeah, it's delicious beer.
Those are probably the most unique beer. Like I can't remember. They were all just so good.
Like,
all in their own little way.
Wow.
Right
Yeah, like this copper, I've never had a beer like this.
Yeah,
like for each beer that I had, like I can confidently say I've never had a brew like this.
So you're with me on the copper, hey?
I thought the copper was going to be a little bit bitter, but it's not. It's sweet. It's the caramel. You can taste it.
Which one did you prefer out of the three? I know
honestly,
I kind of stole the copper on you, but
like flavor-wise, the hef. But I think because of how much flavor is in there, it's like 1 or 2. And then I would have to move on to like the copper. I could have an evening of I'm going to have another copper, please. And same with the pills.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
There's something to be said about like Czech and German beers.
Yep.
Like for whatever reason, they just get beer.
Go to the source, right?
Else.
Yeah.
Yep. I love a good Japanese beer. I love a good Italian beer, but for whatever reason, if it's Czech or if it's German, I'm like, this is better than all of those ones. And God bless our Canadian beers, but this is where it all like stems from, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. They know what's up. This is unbelievable. I will definitely be getting some Far beer.
Yeah, a little more in the fridge too.
It's going to be a great day at work. I can tell you that much
as well. That hef, it's just the flavor is huge and it's immediate. And
I'm loving it.
That is like a juicy, delicious beer.
You can get your own from Sobeys and Safeway Liquor right now. Text Beer Me, 780-218-9999. We got $50 to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor on the line. Beer Me to the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9990. There he is.
There's Jay Milne. He's ready to sit and sleep today.
Is it going to be a big day for Jay? Is it going to be a hangout too? I think. Is that what he's going to?
Oh, he's on the hangout. Yeah, Lucas is in.
Yeah. He's got that radically Canadian shirt too. The R balls are bigger.
Yeah. Saskatchewan. Rough
Hey,
Riders
love it. Love it. So $50 once again to Sobeys, 780-218-9999. Text in Beer Me, and we'll throw all the names and numbers into a cap and pick a random one, and you'll be walking out or coming to collect $50 in Sobeys and Safeway liquor credits. It is time for the wrap, brought to you by William Huff, one of, if not the livery that you would have on your car. They can wrap anything. They'll do anything. They wrap the studio here. William Huff, we love them. If you want your place to look as good as ours, visit the team, WilliamHuff.com. In business since 1952, so you know they're incredible at what they do. WilliamHuff.com. What did you learn on the show today, Tom?
I learned... What did I learn today on the show? Well, Ottawa's getting a new arena.
Yes, you had that in your sports update.
Yeah, I had that in the update. I think it's noteworthy because Canadian Tire Centre is not an ideal NHL facility, and the Sens are going to get a new downtown building.
Where is it in Canada? Hey,
yeah, Canada. I always describe it as like, imagine building a brand new arena with just a parking lot around it, a kilometer southwest of Leduc.
Sounds like the NFL or something. You know, you're kind of way out there.
Yeah,
you're kind
spaceship in the middle
Santa
of nowhere,
Clara,
basically. Yeah. So nice to see they are getting something done downtown Ottawa, which is a sneaky fun place to go. Honestly, I know it's a very white collar government city, obviously too. But you can have a lot of fun, like Carleton's close by.
Well, you got to make your own fun, and that's his one step in creating that.
The history's there. There's some neat stuff to see around there, and they have the old streets and the it harkens back to old Canada,
old Ottawa, yeah. Upper Canada, yeah, you're right. I learned Trev can't clap, and I've never seen this before. I didn't.
It's like
you do, but it's not like a regular. You're kind of. What are you doing?
Giggling face.
Yeah, the story behind the clap is my grandpa was kind of hard of hearing, but my uncle, my stepdad, and myself, we'd always just be very obnoxious with our clapping, and it would irritate the living hell out of him, like it really would. So. We always found ways to clap really loud, and then I found this way to clap. So if you see me at the Elks game and you see a goofball clapping, very weird, it's kind of odd how I clap. But
it's got to be you.
But yeah, it's me, and I can confidently say it's probably the loudest clap I know. Like I don't know anyone clapping.
Unbelievable.
It is. It has its own unique pop.
You get a good hollow. It's like making that fart sound.
But yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but like when I really get going, like I've had people like, "Whoa, I didn't know claps could be that loud." But
it looks hilarious because you're like this.
But yeah, that's the only bad thing. You kind of look like a dork. Like
yes,
yeah,
you did it at the.
Do you wear a helmet?
Remember the 75th anniversary? And he's like this.
A very like
a bear with two cymbals. You wind him up and he kind of goes. You know, like a
professional setting, and I'm just clapping like that. So it's kind of funny, but loud clap. You can hear. Yeah, we'll get me clapping. Get me clapping one day. I'll cheer for something.
We got to get you clapping at Oktoberfest with a far beer in your hand.
Oh, I'll be clapping.
Well, you put one down, and then you clap, and then you pick it up and then crush it.
Absolutely.
After a ziggy-zaki. I love when they do that. Oi, oi,
what
oi.
was it? The Man Show. Remember that with girls jumping on trampolines and all that?
Yeah, that show
stuff?
would not exist today.
Well, but that's... What's the one guy do? He does like a home improvement thing now or whatever?
Adam Carolla?
Yeah. The other guy.
Kimmel's the other guy, yeah.
But this stems... Learning the clapping thing with Trev comes from stemming also learning that you can open things. And this will lead into text of the day here as well for A&W. Check out A&W today. Of course, we had the Teen Burger and the Buddy Burger varieties of the new Ruffles. And I want to get the name right here. The Ruffles Crunch Teen Burger and the Ruffles Crunch Buddy Burger. You get them today. Great deal. Try one at your neighborhood A&W. $20 to A&W. And that will be going to Bob Loblaw in Lloyd. He went pillar to post this morning. These extra small condom packages are hard to open. Again, when you said... You hit it up on a tee. It was a tee ball. You put the ball on the tee. And then I said, people, text in. It'll probably be winning you text of the day.
Yeah.
YouTube Trev has trouble opening things. And I knew in that 6 o'clock hour, somebody out there, and it was Bob Loblaw and Lloyd. So congratulations to him, winner of text of the day this morning.
Well done.
These extra small, and he had to put in couldn't just say condom packages, hey?
Couldn't be modestly sized.
Had to say extra small. Hard to open, so... Exactly.
Petite.
You put demure.
We're being silly now.
Nah, it's silly season here.
I regret to open up to the nasties because they like having fun with this. But honest to God,
Respectful.
truth,
I respect
respectfully.
I respect that very
So
much.
like you saw it at the SDs the other night. I had a hard time opening the envelope. Someone in the nasty chat said like, "Do you need friends to open your beers?" And I hate to admit it, but just a lot of the time I can't open a beer can, and it sucks. For Crackback, I struggle mightily opening cards. I don't know why. It's just my thing. I can't open things, and I don't like it.
Okay. I still respect you on National Respect Day,
it's national
despite your
respect.
Deficiencies.
Respect. And we thank Joaquin Fair as well, popping up in the nasty chat following his hit, and a lot of good praise for him. So thanks so much, and that's good. That's what we're trying to continue here at EST is kind of that fun, friendly relationship. Head out today if you don't win the $50 to Sobeys. Get some far beer in you for this autumnal weekend here with some great football.
We did hit 200, by the way, Trev.
Easy.
He's got it.
Changing 200.
Aha!
On a day that Dustin Nielson poaches guests from us, I mean, that's talking about respect.
Him and
lack
Herm
of.
just had a call together on their own privately?
Absolutely, that's what happened. I don't doubt it at all.
Hurts for James H. Brown.
Don't doubt it at all. And we'd like to thank everybody here this morning. Marshall Ferguson, the guest of the day, joining us, all the way back in hour number 1. A great detailed look at Week 16 in the CFL.
Yes.
Which begins tonight and goes into tomorrow. 2 doubleheaders. We do got, it's a Battle of Ontario tonight. Fascinating matchup. Ticats visiting the Argos. Rough Riders visiting the Stamps. Dustin Nielson will have the call. Tomorrow, Montreal and Ottawa at 1, followed by the big one, Blue Bombers and Elks. That's here from Commonwealth. Both teams coming off a bye. Of course, EST's got you covered for this one. Mm-hmm. You can join Maddie and Milne, Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. 4 o'clock, they get on the air for the Green and Gold Kickoff show. They'll also be on after the game, breaking everything down. But join them at the casino, hop on the train, head down to the tailgate or whatever. But should be a exciting vibe. I mean,
absolutely.
And this is in the middle of a football weekend here in Edmonton. Of course, Golden Bears and Rams tonight, Foot Field. 7 o'clock kickoff. Golden Bears looking to get to 500 and knock the Rams back down to 500. And you can join me Sunday as well. JP Bowl, a little Prairie Junior action. Edmonton Huskies taking on the Regina Prairie Thunder. That's kickoff 1 o'clock. And that's all surrounding the Oilers again. And somebody in the nasty chat wondering about yourself. You will be down kind of more reporting rink-wise and all that.
I'm heading to the rink right now.
Love
yes, I'll try to get a rink report in if I can. Reed and I shot one yesterday, but I'm working with some new gear.
Those damn cables, It's
just very frustrating. We'll just go back to the gear that was working last year.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
What you know. That's what you'll be watching. Well, tonight, yeah. I mean, you'll be kind of, a little CFL, a little bit of the Oilers later this afternoon. But keep it locked here. I know we got Lucas Holt from Whale and the Wolf will be joining Jason Milne, Matty Iwanek in the Hangout today. Yes. Oil Stream coming up later. I should be either home studio or down at the rink. And then I want to say Hello Hockey, tentatively scheduled for tomorrow. It's a go, barring the arrival of Fresh Bebe Bell. Oh,
who
baby.
Could arrive today.
A Baby Bell.
Baby Bell. Sean Bell is anticipating the arrival of his newborn son. The due date was yesterday, so we're planning on going tomorrow.
A very ripe Baby Bell.
10 to noon. Ripe Baby Bell. And so Lindsay, best of luck. And the plan is to be back for Oil Stream Season 3 tomorrow. Or pardon me. Hello Hockey Season 3 tomorrow.
It's all clicking in here, and I love it. It's a beautiful thing. And, of course, EST Afternoons today with Joaquin Gage and Hernan Celis. That's 1 to 3. And followed up by Reed Wilkins and Jason Milne live from Sit and Sleep. That's South Edmonton Common today. Go see the boys next to Planet Fitness. They'll be live there 3 to 6, taking you home today. That'll do it for the Nielsen Show. Sans Dustin Nielson. Once again, he'll have the call down in Calgary tonight. Stamps and Riders. The second half of a doubleheader to kick off in a very, very crucial Week 16 in the Canadian Football League. For YouTube, Trev behind the monitors and his, unwillingness and reluctantness to open things and clap as well. Tom Gazzola, thank you so much again for filling in this morning on an early morning and a late night at the casino as well for us. It was kind of fun. It's a good way to start the weekend. Our guests guests, Marshall Ferguson, Joaquin Fair from Far Beer, and all of, even Herm Edwards, I'll say that. Thank you, Herm, for letting us know ahead of time that you could make the hit today. I'm Lieutenant Eric. Thanks very much for listening. Keep it locked. If you're watching on YouTube, the autoplay, the auto tune will take you right over. And thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. We love you.